I mean, today Colel Chabad is a Shem Klali in the ganze Yidische Welt and beyond. So we're definitely closer to Bimal the Rebbe's Ratzon. Do you agree with that?
Very hard to say, because again, the Rebbe looks at you not the way you are. The Rebbe looks at you the way by the Rebbe, your potential is his reality. Very, 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 very few people reach their potential. If the game is to impress you, so then it's incredible. But if the game is about your connection to the Rebbe, so.
I'm Yossi Kamen. Welcome to Among Chassidim by Der Herr, an ongoing farbrengen about life as a chassid, our vibrant connection with the Rebbe, and inspired living shaped by the way he teaches us each and every day. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Duchman, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, Aleichem Shalom. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, thank you very much for being here. So it's a big schus to sit with you, and there's a lot to discuss. Colel Chabad, the Rebbe shluchim. Before that, I want to get into a little bit. Everyone knows the Duchman mishpacha, and there's a lot of rich inyanim in that. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about where the Duchman mishpacha, where does it come from, how far back, some of the people, and we'll start like that.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a general disclaimer for this whole interview. Okay, from A to Z. So I'm going to start that with a story. Okay. Yud Shvat was, as everybody knows, as I'm sure you know, Yud Shvat HaGadol was unbelievable in 770. It was, really historical time. 770 was mamash on wheels every single second. The atmosphere, the dancing, the singing, the corners. It was incredible. People coming from all over the world. I'm talking about even what's leading up to Yud Shvat, farbrengens over there. And approximately 3 weeks afterwards, unfortunately, on Chassid, my Zayda passed away, my father's father, Rabbi Zalman. And one of his good friends came to me in Menachem. His good friend was Rebbe Chitrik, also a very, very special person, helped me a lot during my work in Colel Chabad, was very involved with me in Colel, helped me especially in the early years. His office actually was my house for many, many years in Manhattan, when he was still able to run around in offices. Today he can't, today security doesn't let. But anyway, so he came to be Menachem over my father. Hirschel has 2 sons, very good friends of mine, both of them. One is Yossi Chitrik and one is Ari Chitrik. So, and they're Chassidim, they were together. Hirschel, my father, maybe he was a little bit older, but around the same age. And they're talking about what's happening, about the kids. And then he says, so Hirschel says to my father that I asked my kids, Ali and Yossi, what's going on in 770. So many of the Mashpim came, the Bnissen came, the B'Shem Achayim, Ben Tzeshemte, it was, places on wheels, my Mazyichim, Zalman Haditscher, whoever. So what's happening by the farbrengens, could you tell me over what's going on? So he says, my kids answered me the following. We don't take part in these things for 3 reasons. Number one, everything they say, alles was sie sagen, ist schon gedruckt. Everything that they say is printed. Second of all, they sagen nicht immer richtig. They don't even repeat it the right way. And third, they're not mekusher. So therefore, I'm making a very, very disclaimer that everything that I have to say is already printed, I'm sure. I'm probably not going to say it over the right way. So therefore, what I'm going to be speaking about is just maybe that a lot of things that are, the way it's in my memory, I can't tell, if it actually happened or didn't happen, there's a lot of things. And the third part about being mekusher or not being mekusher, that I'll leave open.
I was going to say, that's the difference. It's the B'siyam mekusher.
Anyway, so that's my disclaimer to you.
Okay.
So everything is already printed, and the sources and where it's printed probably knows better than the people that were there.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
That's the way it works.
Nevertheless, there's something unique about the personal touch in someone speaking. So anyway, so you made the disclaimer. So now we could go.
Let's go. So you asked me about my Zayda. My Zayda, Baruch Hashem, blessed with 2 Zaydas on both sides, both coming from Chassidim. Duchman, of course, is my Zayder Reb Zalman, was always by the Rebbe. His father was by the Rebbe. His grandfather by the Rebbe, the Matchiel. My Zayder was by the Rebbe, was by the Tzemach Tzedek. His father, I'm not sure, I don't know.
The
Matchiel was by the Rebbe, yes.
He's a Zayder.
It's a whole story, even how he came to the Tzemach Tzedek, an incredible story. I'd like to repeat, I heard it from my Zayder many times. The Matchiel, just the outlook of a chassid, I'm talking about a chassid from 150 years ago. My Zayder's gone 50 years, and Matchiel lived very long life. When he came to the Tzemach Tzedek the first time, heard from Zayder Zalman, in fact, a recording even from Zayder Zalman telling the story by a Tzach convention, which is very interesting. He says he came to the Tzemach Tzedek, and so the seder by the Tzemach Tzedek was that you came and you stayed a number of months, but the yeshivos you would have to go through the misharos. He was the one that would take you in Chaim Bed. He was the misharos that would take you into yeshivos, and then he would register you, and then he would give you the money to be able to keep up. When Matchiel came to the Tzemach Tzedek, he told the Chaim Bed, the misharos, that Rebbe is as he got. The Rebbe is like the Eibishter, and just like the Eibishter, you go with Adam and Mutza, you don't go with an intermediary. The same thing, I want to go into the Tzemach Tzedek, the yeshivos, without an intermediary. So Chaim Ben said, absolutely not, you're not going in, and he didn't let him in. One time, he was standing around, I don't know how much later, and he saw that the door was open. So he knocked on the door and he walked in. The Tzemach Tzedek looked at him and said, "My hi, what are you doing here?" So he said exactly the same thing. He said that a Rebbe is as he would got, and just like the got, you go in with Adam and Mamutza. So the same way, I want to go into the Rebbe with Adam and Mamutza. So he says the Rebbe started laughing so hard, like unbelievable. Then he said the Tzemach Tzedek. So the Tzemach Tzedek asked him, so where did you were you able to live if you didn't go through the Chaim Bed, so you weren't on the list? So he says that ich habe gehungert. He says that Tzemach Tzedek gave such a scream, such pain, that he hears the scream till now.
Well, what you're saying, because they would give you money,
they didn't give the money
to be there in Lubavitch.
If you don't want to go through the secretary, you're on your own. Hungry. So get the money on your own. That's the way basically it came out. He says Tzemach Tzedek was so pained and then he says Tzemach Tzedek put on, I think, a shtreimel, and he said, and he took him in yeshivos, and he says, "Azay yeshivos is keimol nicht gewen und wird keimol nicht sein." So that's the
such yeshivos never was.
Such yeshivos never was and will never be. So that's the just the type of my Zayda where I'm coming from.
So this is not only giving
what the focus was.
It's not only a story; it's giving the whole flavor of the whole kesher, the whole.
It's unbelievable.
Hiskashrus.
Unbelievable hiskashrus. Unbelievable, an unbelievable perspective. And I mean, we have that. I heard the tape recently, not long. This time on the apps, they have the tape. He said it by Tzach convention. There's a tape. It's printed also. I say the safer the way, but you can hear it the way he says it with the passion, with the whole thing. And also, I'm thinking about it. It's just unbelievable. My Zayder, he passed away 50 years ago, Zalman Duchman, but I knew him. I was 17 when he passed away. Zayder Zalman knew Chassidim that saw the Alter Rebbe.
Right.
Okay. So it's precious,
it's
like one removed.
That's one generation.
It's one removed. I mean, we're talking about the people that saw Dr. Rebbe. He was actually in Haditch also. He went to Haditch to the oil in the old days. Zalman, before he came here, before he came to America.
So tell me about because Zalman, you remember, right? So tell me about Zalman. So first, this
Zalman was a very very special yield. He was by the Friedrich Rebbe. He lived in Leningrad when the Friedrich Rebbe was there in St. Petersburg. He went to Lubavitch, and then he lived in St. Petersburg, and obviously the husband of the Friedrich Rebbe was there, so he was there. He knew the Rebbe very, very well. And in fact, he was there the night of Tesvav Sivan, the night that there was the arrest by the Friedrich Rebbe. He was around the house, and in fact, there's a letter from the Rebbe, the first letter that the Rebbe writes to Zayda Zalman. He writes him in the letter that if I remember correctly, you were the one that I gave over the Sfarim that night and Kisviyah that you took out. And that's the Rebbe writes to Zayda Zaman.
So he was mamish like from the Bnei Bayis.
He was from the Bnei Bayis. He was there. He was there. He was there. In fact, also he was there. Stam, it's an incredible story that he was there when the Frierdiker Rebbe left. The Frierdiker Rebbe left Leningrad after Peizayin Pechas, right after Isur Chag, after Simchas Torah Pechas.
When he left Russia.
When he left Russia, he was in the sukkah during Peiches when the Frierdiker Rebbe made Havdalah, and he took along my aunt, Mrs. Lipsker. She just passed away 2 years ago. She lived, I believe, till 106. I believe she was incredible with full. And she had a bracha from the Frierdiker Rebbe. The Frierdiker Rebbe put her hands on her head, and they gave her a bracha. She'd have one of the things was that she'd have a yichus yomim. And she was just incredible. And she saw the Malach HaMavis many times that she came. I don't know, 6 or 7 times that she mamish met the Malach HaMavis in the craziest way. I mean, thrown off a train with Nazis, with sicknesses, etc., etc. And during COVID, she said she ain't going. She has nothing to worry about because she has a bracha. But anyway, so that's Stam Del Chagam and Zayda Zaman. I didn't hear this from him, but he felt bad. My father, he wasn't shaykh to being. My father was born afterwards, but my father had 2 brothers, older brothers that were younger than Malachul, and he always felt, and they never died in the war. One was killed, and one was died from hunger. So my Zayda always would say, "Why didn't I have seichel? To bring them even as little kids. Why didn't I have seichel to bring them to the Rebbe?" Right. I felt bad. I didn't hear it from him, but
she got the bracha.
I heard it from her. Yeah, she got the bracha. She was the only one. She was 9 years old. Yeah, and the other ones were probably 3 and 4. I don't remember the exact age, but they were born after she was born. Tafresh Pei. She was born. So I think Tafresh Pei. Anyway,
so Reb Zalman was when the Frierdiker Rebbe left Russia.
When the Frierdiker Rebbe left Russia, he stayed in Russia. He lived through the entire blockade in Leningrad. It was a miracle how he lived, how he got through. My grandmother's sisters.
What's the blockade? What are you talking?
The blockade was the hunger. There was when the Nazis blocked off, surrounded Leningrad, and food wasn't able to go, and people were dying in the streets, mamish from hunger. And my father also lived through the blockade. Then they went to Tashkent, and then they went to Germany. So this letter I'm telling you was in Germany that the Rebbe writes to Zayda Zalman that it's. I believe that you were there that night. There's also a very interesting letter that Zayda Zalman writes back to the Rebbe. And he writes to the Rebbe that, yes, I am the person, that's very interesting, the titles also that he writes to the Rebbe, Zayda Zalman. And then he writes, this is before the nesius, this is Tafshin. And he writes to the Tafshin Beis, I think. Anyway, he writes to the Rebbe that yes, I was the one that you gave the Sfarim to, and I brought it to you back in a karzina, like a sal, a basket, and I brought it back, a shopping bag, and then I brought it back to you right after you, I think he said, on Yud Beis Tammuz, I brought it back to you. And he writes exactly, you were sitting here, and then you told me that I'll give you a psula teva. I'll give you a schar for taking care of the Sfarim, and I'll give you a psula teva that the Rebbe is going to come back for Shabbos, the Frierdiker Rebbe.
This is Gimel Tammuz.
Yeah, Gimel Tammuz, right?
Yud Gimel or Gimel?
Yud Gimel.
After the whole thing.
After the whole thing, yeah. Mm-hmm. After Yud Gimel. And he says that they celebrated. He said what kind of mashke they had. They drank mashke, and he said they were dancing with sacks only, because it was supposed to be very quiet, very confidential. Nobody should know about it. And then he said that he heard, and he writes to the Rebbe that we heard that Rebbetzin Chayamushke, which was that Rebbetzin Chayamushke went to Kastramat to join the Frierdiker Rebbe, and he said because the reason was that Chane that they were talking, I don't know, the talk in town was that Chane is too sharp, and Sheila is too edel, but Rebbetzin is just perfect, just the perfect mix to go. So that was like, very interesting that he writes that. We have the letter. I think it's also printed in the Shem Eisen. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, what's the story with the Shem Eisen? The Shem Eisen is the Rebbe told him to do that.
The Shem Eisen, the Rebbe told him to do it. The Rebbe continuously pushed him and encouraged him that he should write memories from what he remembered from his Zayda. And he wrote, and not only that the Rebbe encouraged him, but if you take a look in the first Shem Eisen, it went out, Yetzor Eir, Aydei HaChofetz Be'ilim Shmei Shrita. And in those days, Shrita wasn't a title that went to everybody. Right. Today, everybody is Shrita, but in those days, that wasn't a usual. So I'll let you figure it out. But anyway, it's never paid for the printing of the Sefer.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Chavis Be'ilim Shmei Shlita.
Chavis Be'ilim Shmei Shlita. You can see it.
So it's not such a secret.
I don't know, but I'm just, but that's the way that's the safe. It's the green safe. You can see it.
Yeah, and now it's already translated to English, and it's available.
English, and now it's translated to Hebrew and the English on the same page, so we can figure it out. So anyway, Zayda Zalman, when he came here, Zayda Zalman in fact wrote to Rashag after Tafshin Yud. He came here in Tafshin Yud Aleph, in Eretz Tafshin Yud Aleph. He wrote to Rashag after Tafshin Yud. He wrote him that by the Eyo Mustamed there'll be then it was before the Rebbe became Rebbe, that Mustamed maybe it'll be a shul, they'll make a minyan. Yeah, so he wants to be the Gabbai over there. If maybe he can get that as a job in trying to get papers. When he came to yeshivos,
well, you said he was in Haddich, like
I said he was in Haddich before he years before he came out.
So he knew about the whole concept of Eyolim. Yeah.
Of course, he was. That's why I said he went to the Eyolim. Yeah, he went by all the Eyolim. He was in Haddich. He was in Lubavitch, and I'm not sure if he was in Nezhin. That I'm not sure, but maybe he was. But when he came to this country, Tafshin Yud Aleph, and he went into yeshivos, so the Rebbe told him as soon as he came in, Rebbe Zalman, von Leningrad bis New York, Baruch Hashem is etzich. So he says to the Rebbe, yeah, Rebbe, but the bilet was sehr higher. The ticket was very expensive.
He meant everything they went through.
He was a kid, and what they went through, it was a very expensive ticket.
Yeah.
That he told the Rebbe. Anyway, so he was here day and night in 770. Remember him? He was continuous here. 770 was his life. 770 was his place.
He was a figure in 770. He announced.
He was a figure. He davened every single day, 3 times a day. He didn't go. He lived a block away. He lived on 858 Eastern Parkway, and in the beginning he lived in Brownsville. I don't know where, but I think from when I remember, he lived on 858 Eastern Parkway, and that's where he was, except when he went home, to sleep or to learn or shiurim. But
he didn't work.
He didn't work. He did nothing. No. When he came here, he said he wasn't old. When he came, he was 60 years old, and he said, "That's it. I worked my whole life, and now I'm, it's not worth it." And yeah.
And
so that's my side. That's on the.
There's a story with you mentioned the Eyal, and there's a story with him with the Rebbe with the Eyal.
Story with the Rebbe with the Eyal, that he first of all he went to the Eyal every year of his Chedesh. He went to the Eyal, and he went by bus. It wasn't a simple thing to go. After Rebbe Tzimchana passed away, there's a letter from the Rebbe thanking him, or an answer from the Rebbe thanking him that he went and he took. It wasn't a minyan. He wasn't even able to get a minyan, but a reiv minyan to be able to go when the Matzeva, when he heard that the Matzeva was up, he brought the Rebbe Tzimchana. And when there was older Chassidim that went into the Rebbe and told the Rebbe that they're very concerned that the Rebbe goes to the Eyal a lot and it's very, very cold over there. So the Rebbe said that you can thank Rebbe Zalman and Fortach from the Eyal, and so that it's sehr warm.
They should ask Rebbe Zalman that he goes, and he'll tell you that the Eyal is warm.
The Eyal is sehr warm.
Sehr warm.
Sehr warm. And there was a special love that the Rebbe had to Zayda Zalman. I mean, he was able to see, a very special love. Tavshachov Hey, after Zayda Zalman was the one that made the announcement by the Fabrengens. He made the announcement after the Fabrengen as Yitzhak Melav Lamayli, Melach Machen Avdoga, Melach became Keshuk Melach, and he had a very special song that he would say it, like with the Nigen. Yitzhak Melav Lamayli. Dann ist der Rebbe so gesund sein Menschen. Danach hat man Leben am Meer. Danach hat der Rebbe so gesund sein machen auf Dogge. Danach hat man der Rebbe so gesund sein Keshe Brochen. Mit Bett, allgemein, so gehen mit der Seder. That was his usual announcement. So as soon as he finished that announcement, Tavshachov Hey, what's your Rosh Hashanah? Talking about Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah at night, so the Rebbe like in mimicking him way, like in imitating like his voice, as each der Rebbe geben a Ksivach Simerteve zu alle Jiden. Danach machen Jiden gehen machen von die Brachos und Gashus und machen Gereise Ruchnius. I remember exactly the words. And then the Rebbe said, mi bet, mi heist, oder mi bet, am so folgen dem Nein Vadam Sadr. I never said, telling the Eibishter that he should listen to the new Seder, something along those lines. I mean, it's something that you can look up. It's in the Hanocha, but that was I just remember the scene, the picture, just to point out this point, of the special Chavivus, right? Yeah. Special love, which was incredible. And he was,
he also lived in the Chassidim.
Also, he had a very special relationship with special that Tavshin Yud Beis, when the Rabbi Yisroel passed away. So the Rebbe, during Shiva there was a minyan inside the Rebbe's room that the Rebbe davened. But afterwards, to say Kaddish and to daven for the Amid, so the Rebbe said the Zaman did it a whole year.
So he said Kaddish.
He said Kaddish, and he said he did, and then he observed the Yahrzeit always every single year following that. The Rebbe paid him $180. The Rebbe paid him 920s. The Rebbe gave him for this.
That's very special. But the Rebbe said Kaddish also.
The first, I don't think the Rebbe did not say Kaddish. Almost the Rebbe didn't say Kaddish, because otherwise the Rebbe would ask why I say Kaddish.
Right, okay.
It was very, almost sure that's not the case. Okay. Gimel the lady is the Rebbe said Kaddish. Gimel I don't remember up to Chafei if the Rebbe said Kaddish. Gimel or not, I don't remember. But I'm sure that those that do remember.
It's very special. And he also had other functions. He lit the Meneda in 770, right?
He lit the Meneda in 770, and a few times that he tried to be the Ador Yoda, the one that would be everybody with Ador Yoda, and
special Yid.
He was a Baruch Hashem, a very, very special Yid. So that's my Zayda, of course. My Bob, of course, comes from the illustrious Spinkovitz family.
Zalman's wife.
Zalman's wife. Name him in Kovich, in Neville, from Neville. And they would say, Leima Ketanoi. Okay, name is Ketanoi. He was a very, very, very special Yid. And so that's on the Duchman side. On the Bashkin side.
Your mother's a Bashkin.
My mother's a Bashkin, so the Bashkin is also Baruch Hashem, very, very special, prominent family in Nabu. Okay, they were Chassidim, Tmimim Chassidim arose. There were people that they were actually Gvilisha people. I think the name Rubashkin is like a royal name that I think somebody bought from one of the royalties that
it's a Russian name.
A Russian name that went off that went off the way, as we should say. That was OTD from there, and they moved away. I think so. I'm not sure where what the name was, but. Even the Getzel did not learn Simchas Mimim, but the Getzel was why? Because he wasn't, it was before time. It was before time. I don't know. It was before Simchas Mimim. The Getzel was born in 1900. So I don't know why. Okay, maybe before or whatever. Okay, and he was. But he learned. He went. They sent him to, I think, to Leningrad, to his uncle Rebbe. So the Gettel's father was named Sholom. I'm a name after him. Sholom Duchman. I'm not Sholom Bed. I'm Sholom Duchman for him. He was a Yidden level. But Tmimim were always part of the household. When he went to Rebbe was over there.
Who's Rebbe?
Rebbe was his uncle. Was the Gettel's uncle. Rebbe, yes, he lived in, I think, in Moscow, Leningrad. He lived in a big city. He was a very, very big seicher, and they sent him to do business and to learn business and to learn trade. But also there were tmimim that were there in the house. Like tmimim was mamish part of his blood. And in Neville, the yeshiva was there. They had tmimim by him in the house.
Neville was a Chassidish center.
Center, and in fact, that the Sholom, when the Tmimim came in Neville, he brought an extra behemoth to make for the milchiks that he should have for Simchat Tmimim, but it wasn't really that there wasn't the shtetl. It was part of their household. They would, so even though, and by Chassidim, that was the, that was the way. There was no other way. Okay, by the Getzel, it was. The Getzel was the Rebbe, then the Eibishter, and then Chassidim. The very just to give it out. The Getzel, because they were a prominent family in Neville, and they were a wealthy family, they dealt with wax and. Big shluchim of wax. They had money all along. So when the revolution happened, everybody had to make new papers, had to get new passports. And Zayde Getzel couldn't get a passport. They didn't want to give him a passport. There was a person in charge in town of the passports, and he decided that he's not sure about the Rabashkins. He's not giving them he's not giving them a passport. They were very, very upset. Without a passport means that you can't move. You're finished. You don't have an ID. It's not a passport. It's an ID. You don't have your ID. You can't do anything. So what does the Getzel do? So he sits on the bezdin of three Chassidim, Rebbe Karasik, Zalman Moshe, and who was the third one? I don't remember who the third one was. Rebbe Karasik, Zalman Moshe. I don't remember who the third chassid is. Maybe it was each Kalemus, maybe. Or okay. And so what did the Chassidim decide? That the bezdin, how are they going to get them papers? So they said that you should make a Chassidish Fabling, and they should make a Chassidish Fabling in the house, and everything will be okay. They were very simple people. Based on Chassidish Fabling, so made a Fabling. Made a Fabling in Shabbos Shul. The Fabling went milchiks and freishiks. That means that with 6 hours with everything, they emptied out the house. There was nothing left. They started Fabling Shabbos by day, and the Fabling went till 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was nothing, not a crumb of food in the house. So I had the story from my grandmother many times. Okay, so they went out. There's no breeder, so my grandmother went out to buy food. She went to the marketplace together with her mother-in-law. They went to buy.
They were married already.
They were married, yeah, to buy food. And so they went out to buy food, and so in the marketplace they met a cousin from a very, very long time ago. Met. Oh, Shalom Aleichem, what are these guys doing here Sunday so early in the morning? So they told me the story, that they're wasted, they had a Fabling in the house, something. So he says, who's the person that's giving them the hard time? They said there's a new person in town. We know this person. We're very, very good friends. We're very, very good friends with this person. We'll take care of it.
It was a guy.
Yeah, it was the guy. Anyway, they went, and the far cousins of or Klevim or friends, I don't even know, they knew this person. Anyway, they came to the person. So he said that one of the neighbors, from the Rabashka neighbors, who would come to the house all the time, told them that they're very questionable. These are people that we don't know where they have the money from. They live like Vilim. So they said, what are you talking about? This is the feinste Menschen, was in the world. These are people that are dedicated to communism in the craziest way. Anyway, within a day or two, the papers were done. So that was the story of
Bezdin for Chassidim.
that was the Bezdin of Chassidim. What they passed, and then it happened. They delivered.
Was a Chassidische Fabrik Knuf then?
100%. That's a Sumgeton. They delivered anyway. Said the Gertz was a very, very special Jew, and tough Jew, but that's the way it was. Really, really an incredible chassid. He could see the pictures. Okay, he would stand by the Fabrengen together with all the young people. So
he refused to sit with the Alter.
Not because he refused to sit, because he said that when I sit, I fall asleep, and he didn't want to basically sleep in front of the Fabrengen. Amala used to sit. It's not that he didn't sit. He sat for years, and then when the Rebbe spoke about sleeping, that it disturbs him, that it bothers him. So that's when he stood up, and he never sat down again. And he stood till the last day, till he was able to stand.
There's also a nice story with the Megillah.
Megillah, crazy story with the Megillah. Yeah, you know the story.
What's the story?
The story with the Megillah was that he went to buy himself a Megillah. And he asked the Sefer, Rabbi Matchen, Shaya Matchen, Rabbi Shaya, was the Megillah, the Megillah. So he says, the Megillah is very racist. The Rebbe doesn't have such a nice Megillah. He was doing it as a sales pitch. So he says to himself, when am I going to have a nice Megillah than the Rebbe? So he said, I'm going to give the Megillah to the Rebbe. But you can't just give it the Megillah, so you have to give it in a silver case. So he went to buy a silver case for the Megillah. And he sent in the Megillah. I'm not sure. It could be up to Adik. Maybe Adik delivered the Megillah to 1304 because there were customers on asking. Yeah, I'm not sure how the Megillah went through the normal channel through 770. It was delivered through the Rebbe through 1304. I'm not sure. But anyway, the first night the Rebbe did not use the Megillah. Zayd Gertz was livid. He was so upset. He was devastated. Rebbe shouldn't use the Megillah. But then he got a call after Meile from Rabbi Chadikov. Rabbi Chadikov called him and said that the Rebbe said that have a Megillah, to own a Megillah is a very big mitzvah, and therefore for mitzvah he wants to participate with money. So if Zayd Gertz was ready to take a payment for the Megillah, partial payment, histasfus of $18, so then who used the Megillah? So he, of course, he said yes, and the next morning the Rebbe used it, and Harav Reb Gertz Lebashkin Tzara v'Samecha.
And that's the Megillah with the silver case that the Rebbe always used. That was matana from.
That was the Megillah.
It's a big chiddush. The Rebbe didn't take matanas like this.
Right.
I mean, there are a few things,
it's
but
a very big chiddush that the Rebbe took basis.
Did he write to the Rebbe this whole story? No, not necessarily.
Did he write to the Rebbe? I'm not sure. I have no idea.
That's a very
I don't know if he
story.
wrote the story or if he didn't write to that, but that was the story.
So he's a Chassidish Yid, basically.
He was a very, 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 very Chassidish Yid. So that's in terms of the Rabashkin side. He was unbelievable. Okay, very, very, and to the Rebbe and to Chassidim and to the system. He was a system Jew. Okay, so by him the system was Kaddish V'Toil.
The Rebbe system.
The Rebbe system was Kaddish V'Toil. Okay, what he felt was the Rebbe system. Again, everybody has their interpretation of the system, but the Rebbe system. That's the way it was. The people, you know what I mean. Rabbi Laskin and Rabbi Shamtev, and this is, Kedush Kadoshim.
Even though he's much older than them.
It doesn't matter. The Rebbe's mentioned. These are the people that the Rebbe put up. These are the people that report to the Rebbe. That's the way it was. There was no questions asked.
Amazing. Okay, so we're getting closer to you. So
my father was of course, my father came here.
Your father grew up in Russia.
My father grew up in Russia. Then he went to Tashkent, and then he went to. Then he was a sheikhet in Ireland for a few years. B'shlichus from the Frierdiker Rebbe.
What was the story of the?
The story was that the Frierdiker Rebbe sent England gave a gift to the state of Israel meat. And they needed kosher.
England gave it or Ireland gave it?
England. I'm almost sure that England gave it. I'm almost sure. And
I heard a different version. Okay,
it was Ireland. I don't know exactly. I don't know. and or the chief rabbi from what's his name, Herzog, the chief rabbi from England was the one that arranged it, or from Eretz Yisroel, he was arranged it. He had ties to, I believe, to English. I don't know again. And Lepoil, so they were in Ireland. I was born in Ireland.
Because of that.
Because of that.
So they moved with the mishpacha, everything.
My father and mother were married, and
you're the oldest.
I'm the oldest. And my father, my father was a sheikh. I think he was a sheikh maybe even before the Chassidim, I'm not sure. But and then he lived there until 1954. He lived there, and I was born in 1953. So Tafshin Yud he lived there. And I was born in Tafshin Yud.
Born in Ireland.
I was born in Ireland. Thank you, Ireland.
Are you a citizen? No.
I still travel on an Irish passport.
Wow.
And really, and during COVID, it was a tremendous help. Okay, as the whole world was on lockdown, and I have a lot of people that I had to see in different sides of the world. And you don't, with an Irish passport, you don't need visas. You don't need. It was a tremendous help. So yes, thank you to the Irish government.
The Fidik Rebbe is sending your father to Ireland so you can do your travels for Colel Chabad.
Me and my kids also all travel all have Irish passports.
So the Duchmans are Irish. Okay,
yeah, and I think my grandchildren also could have Irish passports, and because of me, I think it goes to the grandchildren too. And it's a big asset now, especially with the EU, with everything else. So it's a big help.
Okay.
But anyway, when and then my father came over here. Okay, we lived first in Brownsville for a few years. We lived for 3 years in Brownsville. When I was 3 years old in Tufshin Tzayin, that's when we moved in on 922 Eastern Parkway. Now, when we moved in, just to give you an example of my father.
What's the address?
922 Eastern Parkway.
So that's between Albany and Troy.
Okay, but the reason why I'm saying 922 Eastern Parkway, because the Rebbe actually was there in 922 Eastern Parkway, because downstairs from us there lived the Twersky, Harav Twersky, who he was, and he had a shul over there. And when my father went to look at the apartment, so he told them that I'm not going to bargain with you on the rent. Whatever rent you want, I will give you in full. But you have to remember that I don't plan to be counted in your minyan. They needed a minyan. There was a
your father told him.
My father told him. He says, I daven only in one place in 770. Okay, so I daven only in one place in 770, because and therefore my father, every single day that he was alive was in 770. There wasn't one day that he didn't pass by that he wasn't in 770. 770 was his life. I mean, he worked, he had a business, but that was his place, that was his passion. All around what's going on in 770. Just reminded myself, that's just my thought, because one of the things I make a joke about is that I daven only in 770. There's a shul, a major shul in Crown Heights, Getzel Shul. I'm sure everybody knows what Getzel Shul. And I say that the reason why it's called Getzel Shul is because the Getzel would never walk into that shul. That's the only shul he would never walk in, because by him, besides 770, there was no other shul. It didn't exist. Okay, so that's why I just remind myself of my chokhmah that I always say. But that's why it's called Getzel Shul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be the shul he wouldn't go to.
Never. Not this. It was around downstairs from his house. No, he lived actually upstairs.
1440.
He lived in 1418. He lived.
So next
door. Yeah, but it's part of.
Next to the Rebbe's mother.
Yeah, part of. But after the Rebbe's mother passed away.
They moved in. Yeah. And your father also, a lot of this Chassidish varmkeit and hiskashrus that you're talking about, the Zaydas, your father also had this type of...
we loved the Rebbe, and that was on his mind the whole, always, continuously, every single day, Simchas Torah wasn't by him Simchas Torah once a year. By him Simchas Torah was every single day, thinking, what's he going to say, and how is he going to say, and to make the Rebbe, to bring a smile on the Rebbe's face, to make the Rebbe happy, to do something for the Rebbe.
Yeah.
In that way, yes, it was very, 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 very passionate about it.
You think Simchas Torah, he'd make Kiddush in front of the Rebbe, it was a whole situation.
It was a whole major thing.
But he was chazan.
He was Chazan. After Mem Gimel, he was Chazan. Till Mem Gimel, Shleiman Kazanovsky was the Chazan. He had Yortzeit. But after Mem Gimel, he Chazan. From Mem Gimel to Mem Tes. And then he passed away Mem Tes, and then I had the schus Nun and Aleph and Nun Beis to be the Chazan.
But then
Yeah.
You also did the whole Kiddush and everything?
I did the Kiddush in the first year that I made Kiddush.
So it's after Shachris?
After Shachris,
you made Kiddush, the Chazan made Kiddush.
And the first time that the Rebbe made, the first time that I made Kiddush, after I made Kiddush, the Rebbe went like this, to take another one, a big one.
Yeah, the Rebbe told you?
Yeah, and after 2 big cups,
we're not talking about wine here.
It was a different, it was Crown Royal. It was a different experience. It was like this, and
I told you to do another one.
So that's anyway. That's some Castello.
That's the only time I make Kiddush on Mashke, and I think I based it off this. That I've been encouraged. I don't know if it's only for the Chazan or whatever.
And Baruch Hashem.
It's also we once printed in the Hera a picture of your father sweeping before Lag B'Omer parade.
Yeah.
It's interesting tzir, he didn't give it to you.
He was here. He was,
He didn't leave it for, because he was doing it because the Rebbe was coming. So he wanted to make sure it's clean. So
100%.
That's what he was.
That way it was very special.
Yeah, and there's also Rabbi Shlita, right? He's the one that institutionalized it. Different schusim. Okay, so now I think we made it to you.
That's my background.
So based on all that background,
that's a small part of my background.
Yeah, there's much more. So you're growing up you're born in Ireland. You moved to Brownsville and to Crown Heights. So how old are you when you moved to Crown Heights?
I was 3 years old.
3 years old.
By my upshellers. My upshellers was on 922 Eastern Parkway.
Oh. So your father's davening 770 every week.
My father davening 770 every
single day. So how many kids were around those years in B'chal 770?
Not too many. But we lived in 770. That was our life. That's where we were. That's where we hung up.
So can you tell me a little bit about what was it like being around the Rebbe as a kid when there's nobody, when the only people there?
Listen, the Rebbe had a special place for kids. After every Fabelingen, we would stand by the door. The Rebbe would come back, and the Rebbe would dance together with the kids.
Dance.
Then every Fabelingen.
Like clap.
And clap and sing and make Chabad to the kids. As the Rebbe would be opening the door, as the Rebbe would be taking out his key, and all the kids would be standing around the Rebbe's door and then singing. And by the Fabelingen, we weren't there. Played outside. I don't know. We played on the roof, probably, but did all kinds of mischievous things. But for that, you made sure to be by when the Rebbe came back. When the Rebbe came upstairs, to be and see the Rebbe, going into his room. That was very, very special.
You ever said anything to the Rebbe as a kid?
No.
The birthday, some people say l'chaim to the Rebbe.
Oh, by my birthday I said l'chaim. We had yeshivos for the Rebbe.
So tell me about it.
So when I was 3 years old, we had yeshivos with the Rebbe, and I don't remember that, but we had a very, very interesting yeshivos because it was a crazy, crazy story. The yeshivos was for my upshellers. We went inside to the together with my brother Yossi, and my mother went, and me and my sister Chana, my brother Yossi. My brother Yossi was then probably 5 months old. My brother Yossi is born in Ov, so this is he was 5 years old. He was 5 months old, 4 months old, 5 months old. But the Rebbe, even though my upshot, the Rebbe asked me only mamish, one question, and then the Rebbe was looking at Yossi the whole time, and my mother was holding Yossi, and what's with Yossi, and his name, and brachas, and in a crazy, crazy way. My mother told me that she remembered even walking out of Yechida, she said, something doesn't add up over here. Okay, very, 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 very concerned. Wasn't concerned, but anyway, 2 months later, or a few weeks later, Yossi was breathing terrible. Was very, very hard, having a very, very hard time breathing. And so my mother's, we didn't have no money. We went to the health center. It wasn't to the not to a doctor. They couldn't afford a private doctor. Then they went. It was a main station, a health station that you went. Public place.
Like a hospital?
And they went. It wasn't a hospital. It was like I don't think it was a hospital. Anyway, they came. It's nothing. It's a cold. It's baseless. But then he was breathing still a couple of days, breathing terrible, heavy. She went to the doctor. It was a private doctor by us on the block. His name was Dr. Marcus. And he said, I got to rush him to the hospital right away, to the hospital. Anyway, he took him to the hospital. He took an x-ray. He swallowed, in the olden days, today we have Pampers, Baruch Hashem, but in the olden days, I don't know if you remember, there used to be called diapers. And diapers, in order to hold the diapers, you had a safety pin. He had a safety pin that was open, that was in his windpipe. He swallowed a safety pin that was open, in the windpipe stuck. And that's very, very painful for breathing. Anyway, they found my father. There's no telephone anyway. But anyway, so they sent him to the hospital. He had two choices. One choice is that they make an operation. They operate, which is a very, very big sakana. Another choice is that with a magnet they should close it and take it out, but it's also a very, very big sakana. And so my parents said that they can't answer. They only ask the Rebbe. Anyway, my father called through Sholom Duchman is the Rebbe. The Rebbe said that they should go with the magnet and they should try to see the doctor either before or after. That was the hero that they said. Anyway, they went to the hospital, but the doctor was a private doctor, but they didn't have it as private. Every doctor had to be surgeons, had to give a date to the hospital, but it wasn't your patient. It's a public patient as a public. So when my parents asked if they wanted to go see the doctor, they said, no, you can't. It's not your doctor. The doctor's here from the hospital staff. That's why. Happened to be a very big doctor. So it happened to be. Anyway, my mother says she was walking around. She felt that everybody's looking at her. This is the person that their baby is gone soon because it's a very, very big sakon, a very, very dangerous operation. Anyway, they took him in, and within 10 seconds the guy came out, and Baruch Hashem, everything went through right away. And they asked, and the doctor said, I must go see the lucky parents. He asked, I must go see the lucky parents. He walked over to my mother. He says that my father is an old-time surgeon. If he would tell me that he performed such a surgery, so then I wouldn't believe him that it was possible, such a thing. So my mother says, I'm sorry to break it to you. It wasn't you, it was the Rebbe that was standing and holding your hand. He says, it could be. Because again, if my father would tell me that he performed such a surgery, just the point I'm trying to point out, that was the Rebbe's a look.
Yeah, from a few months before.
From a few weeks before. But yes, he also had a very special place by the Rebbe. The Rebbe told my father once, as kannst du sagen, my father asked for a belacha for him, so he said, kannst du sagen, dass ich tracht wegen ihm, wie tracht wegen mir. It's quite a heavy statement.
I'm thinking about him more than he's thinking
about him more than he thinks about me. So first of all, this.
We had someone else on this podcast that was there, and Dollar standing behind when he heard that.
Could be, but anyway, but that's Rabbi Yossi. But anyway, so that's my coming back. That's coming back. So you're talking about speaking to the Rebbe. No, but I remember very, very clear. Listen, my early days. I remember the parade. I remember the parade. I think I remember Tafshin Yud Zayin. I'm not sure. That's the way I think. I'd like to think that I remember. But Tafshin Chav, I remember very, very clearly. And for me, the clearest thing is I remember that I was coming to camp. Tafshin Chav, I was in camp, and I was a camper. I was in Bung Bays. Benji Yuden was my counselor then. I remember. Who? Benji Yuden. Yeah, Benji Yuden. He's a love now in Fairlawn, New Jersey. Respected love. He was my counselor. We were in. I remember which bunk in parks in Swan Lake. This is the old camp. It's not around. And I remember the Rebbe coming. I remember when we lined up. I remember the Rebbe coming and the Rebbe standing on the took of the car, like, to see everybody. I
Like
remember
the
on the step of the car. I remember my Shulazar. I remember Remel. I remember the Rebbe in the shul. I remember the Rebbe gave us each one a Mincha Meidev. The Rebbe gave Keshe Brachas. So, I remember that.
There's a whole Fabringen, basically.
Huh?
There's a whole...
Fabringen, I don't remember. Okay, but I remember we were sitting. I remember the Mincha Meidev, I remember the Keshe Brachas. I remember the Rebbe coming. I remember the Rebbe, the bedside inspection. I remember the bedside inspection very, very clearly.
So describe that.
Every single kid stood by his bedside. The Rebbe went just like bedside inspection. Every single kid by his bed. Very clear.
They're walking to every bunk.
They're walking to every single bunk, to every single kid, to every single room. Now there's stories what happened. The stories I don't remember, but the canteen, I'm sure.
So what was that like? The Rebbe coming to your bunk?
What?
What was that like for the...
a 6-year-old kid, what was it like, But that's the way it was.
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine. No, so that's why. When you're 6 years old, it's not a problem.
Right.
Today you can't imagine, but when you were 6 years old, it absolutely was not a problem. So it was unbelievable.
So where did you go to school? Bedford?
I went to school, Colel
Chabad.
Yeah, then I went to Bedford.
So you're part of the original group.
I was the fourth or fifth kid in Colel, and I went before that. I went to preschool to Beis Rivka had a preschool program, 825 Eastern Parkway. That's where Beis Rivka was then, across the street. So I was there. I remember some moras, vaguely that we had. But I went to Colel, and I wasn't. I was quite a tough student, very, very wild kid.
Who taught you?
Wasn't easy where in Colel.
Yeah.
All the old time Rabbeim, great Rabbeim. Rabbi Korf was my Rebbe for a little while. Had Aye Prager was my Rebbe. I had Rabbi Chaim, Rabbi Sholom Munitz. Great Jew, unbelievable Jew. I remember I saw him more as an older person. That he was an incredible Yid. To watch him daven, to watch his krishma was just incredible. To see it. Who else was my Rebbe? You saw Rosenfeld was the principal then. Shlomo Duchman was the driver. It was Yosel Reitzes was my Rebbe. Yes, I mean the uncle, not the uncle, one that, that's basis, okay. He used to drive us, and we used to have to run away. It wasn't today. It's I don't know how they get by with the English, but in those days there was the English. It wasn't a simple thing.
It was back to Russia.
It was like Mama's back to Russian days, right? The inspector would come, so you have to run away. That you're not there. That was in Colel. And then I went to Bedford, but I didn't do too well, staying in one yeshiva at a time. So then I went to Bedford, and then from Bedford also they didn't do too well with me. So I went 2 years in Beis Talmud and I was not in yeshiva, and then I went back to Bedford.
Bedford. So you remember the Yeshivos for Bar Mitzvah?
Of course, I remember the Yeshivos by Bar Mitzvah. For sure, I remember Yeshivos even before Bar Mitzvah. The family used to go in once a year. The family used to go into Yeshivos. It was a very, very special day. My father would come home early, and we would all get dressed our Shabbos clothes, and we would go. My sisters and me. Of course, I remember by Bar Mitzvah Yeshivos. Sure, I remember. Is
there anything you want to share from those Yeshivos?
Well, I don't think so. I can't say there was something. The thing from Yeshivos that the Rebbe asked my mother, when is the Bar Mitzvah? So she said that my Bar Mitzvah was on Sunday. Chof Ches. My Bar Mitzvah was Chof Ches Adar. My Bar Mitzvah was on Sunday. The Rebbe asked, when is the Suda? So my mother said Sunday night. So the Rebbe said, das ist doch von the Weiber. But when is the Rebbe said you should make a minyan, you should wash your Motzei Shabbos, or Sunday, baby aim before the Shkia, and have the mitzvah Shechaz the Maimer. So that was the
party's bazunder, but you have to have something.
Something on that day, right? That's what he spoke about. Remember the party? Das ist doch von the Weiber. I never said, and
So
that then I remember if we're going again as a 14-year-old, as a 15-year-old, as a 16-year-old,
you led us.
among others. It was a very, very special day. Yeshivos was a very, very special day. And the Rebbe was, full gloom, full Beis a very serious Yeshivos. And we took it very, very serious. And I'm just thinking about it. It's mind-boggling. Think about it. You know, who looks at a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old? You know, I wouldn't have patience to. And the Rebbe, with the whole thing, 3 minutes. It wasn't a long time. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, but it was unbelievable.
So what was the say that they would write?
I'd write a tzafel to the Rebbe, and then going to give the Rebbe the tzafel, and the Rebbe would start giving. The Rebbe would make marks, and the Rebbe would give brachos, and by me, I mean that's.
They weren't writing like questions or anything.
I didn't have no questions. I not in those days.
Mm-hmm. Where were you learning? In Bedford?
I was learning in Bedford.
So Rabbi Yael taught over there?
What?
I heard that you're very connected to Rabbi Yael. When was that?
Rabbi Yael was there. Rabbi Yael gave shiur. I was very connected, but that was in Ocean Parkway when I was older. But we had Rabbi Yael all the time. I mean, Rabbi Yael was there. Was also Rabbi Yael was also remarkable. I think about it. We were 14, 15 years old. Rabbi Yael used to come every single night. He used to give a shir Tanya. He used to give a chassidus lechem sacha, and taught us lechem sacha verbringt with us. And every Shabbos we'd meet across the street on 749, and Rebbe would teach us Negunim. He would teach us the Chassidim. You know, it was also unbelievable. You know, I mean, of course, I didn't understand then, what the Biel was, but
he gave you a lot. You think?
Biel is incredible, remarkable. You know, the Biel is. There's no words. Different light. Different. When you went to Maimah before, and then when first time we heard shiurim, it was mind-boggling. Just it's a different light. It's from a different, total different perspective, total different picture. That was the unbelievable days in Ocean Parkway. Yeah. We had the Rebbe was there every single night. He was there. He almost never missed.
Yeah.
It's great years.
It's interesting because later he didn't deal with younger Bachrim, but it sounds like he had a lot from all the people your age.
I'm talking about this later, but when he was in Bedford, and we were in Bedford. Later years he didn't do it younger Bachrim, but
I hear from people that were there, your age, whatever bracket. And it's a big part of their life. The Rabbi Yael was
the Rabbi Yael with 15-year-old kids. You verbringt, he says L'chaim, and he drank L'chaim, and and geweint, and you based us, and was full glory that we understand. We didn't understand then, but it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay, so you learned it.
In later years was B'kal Gebaldik.
Yeah.
I went to 770. I came to 770 in Tafshin Ramadara.
So you went on shluchim anywhere that didn't exist yet?
No, I didn't go on shluchim. I was in Chavtes and Lamed. I was in Newark, and Tafshin Ramadara. I came to 770. I was not on shluchim.
Okay, so you come to 770, Tafshin Lamed Aleph.
Came to 770, Tafshin Lamed Aleph, and then we got a special mashpia then, Shlomo Zarchi. That was the first year that he was mashpia.
Yeah, the first.
We made him. We trained him. We crowned him. I forgot the word for it. It was also very, very special. Unbelievable day and night. He was young. Every single night, verbringt, almost every single night. We were in Samachalef. It was really, really special, very, very special. Sat shiurim.
What was happening? Tafshin Lamed Aleph. What was the? So how many years were you in 770?
I was in 770 from Lamed Aleph. That's when I came to 770.
So
but before, Chavtes and Lamed, we were also in touch with 770. Chavtes, we were also in touch with 770.
Because you knew her.
Yeah, it was here. I was here my whole life. I was here.
So what was the Avirah? What was happening by the Rebbe those years? What was the? What was the kach?
The kach was very stark to make sure to have Mincha with the Rebbe and to have Meida with the Rebbe, and as much as he could be together with the Rebbe under one roof with the Rebbe to be with the Rebbe. And also, it was a very big kach and verbringens, and what the Rebbe said, and my molim, and the learnings of the Rebbe. That was in those days, and also in fulfilling what the Rebbe wanted. It wasn't shaykh when we were in 770. It wasn't shaykh that the Rebbe should speak about something, that something shouldn't be done about it. If the Rebbe spoke about it, something to happen, something should be some hazazah. Whether maybe as miftzayim, but before that even, in every single thing that was shaykh.
Right, you say later while you're in 770, the Rebbe starts the whole miftzayim, so that changes everything.
That was a very big change, that was a very, very big change. But it was this avilah that that we, you have to...
So you're saying that the big focus by the Bachrim was what the Rebbe said by the Fabrengens. That was
So to know the Fabrengens, to what the Rebbe spoke about by the Fabrengens, and a very big focus was Pil Mamish, of what the Rebbe spoke about, to try to bring out, especially in the messages to the world, especially.
So give me examples, like what are you talking about?
I can tell you talking about Miftzayim. In those days, I don't remember whether it was hiskashrus or whether it was in speaking about me Yehudim that the Rebbe went, whether it was a Tisha B'Av to go out to Miftzayim, whether it was film, whether it was just the feeling in every single thing is how we bring the Rebbe's message to the world. And the point was how we bring the Rebbe's message to the world. That was the koch.
Right.
Not the message to the world, but the Rebbe's message to the world. At least from my perspective. It's not,
So let's move on a little bit, and we'll talk about the shluchus.
Okay.
So we're talking about, what year was the shluchus? Tavshin Lamed Vav. So it's 50 years.
Now it's 50 years.
It's 50 years of the shluchus. So before we get into your story, what is the shluchus to Eretz Yisroel? What's going on? Like, how does it start? Just take me through the whole experience, the way you remember it.
By the end of the Fabrengen, the Rebbe said that...
How old are you then, first of all?
What?
How old are you then?
When I was 23 years old.
23 years old. So you're already seasoned 770 Bacher. You're there for a few years since...
I was 770, wife for 2 years. I'm 770 for 5 years.
Right. Okay. So you just kissed Lamed Vav.
I came to 770. I was 19 when I came to 770. Mm-hmm. And then we had 2 years in Newark, which was also just not much like 770. Just we happened to be there. So, by the Fabrengen, there was by the end of the Fabrengen, the Rebbe started speaking like Himmudike Werther, that he wants to send a minion, Ede Gdeisha, to Yerushalayim and to Tzfas, and for shluchus. And the Rebbe said, so the next day, 770 went wild, went on wheels, to go on shlichus from the Rebbe, and people started writing in. So
Ede Gdeisha means 10.
Huh?
It means
Ede
10?
means 10, yeah. And,
so everyone just knew that you're supposed to write it in your name or write to the Rebbe that you want to go?
I don't remember exactly what how it went. So when it was exactly, I don't know. You have to ask Chaim Shor. Chaim Shor will tell you exactly when it was. He'll give you all the chronological details. I can just maybe it's one chant.
Okay.
Okay. But it was first the Rebbe spoke about it. Okay, and then it was like unbelievable buzz, such a thing. Then the Rebbe came and the Rebbe made, I think it was the next Shabbos or Shabbos afterwards, I'm not sure if it was the next Shabbos or Shabbos afterwards, that the Rebbe made very clear, that you have to, this noim that you have to write in, that for a year, that you're not going to get married for a year, Bochrim, or those that you're 2 years married at least. That you can write that we should write very strong noim.
So either you're a bacher or you have to be married for 2 years?
Either you're a bacher that you don't plan to get married for another year, or you're a younger man that it's already after Shana L'Shena. That you're married already before. So that's the. And so, of course, I gave in my name. I was very, very keen. This is our whole life was that our whole dream was that we should be shluchim. Yes, what was the Avilah in 77? That was the Avilah in 77. The Avilah in 77 was that you are in West Point to become shluchim. That's what 770 is. That's what we looked at. That's what 770 is about. So I of course volunteered and tried, hoping that maybe we'll be able to get. And sure enough, on Friday, I don't remember which Friday it was, but Rabbi Klein walked over to me and told me that you're one of the candidates. You have to ask your parents if your parents are maskim, and of course I said yes, and Baruch Hashem, and I lucked out. I was able to be one of the shluchim.
So what happened before you went?
Before we went it was incredible. The Rebbe made the Fabelenge Yud Shvat. The Rebbe spoke about the shluchim, and then Yud Aleph Shvat. There was a yeshivos. We had a yeshivos kloli
With the parents?
With the parents. And the Rebbe gave that with the parents, and then the Rebbe gave each one of us a nesius, and he gave us money for tzedakah. He sent Rabbi Mantik along with us. The Rebbe came out to say goodbye to us. The Rebbe asked in Eretz Yisroel, there should be a tremendous big kabbalah upon him. There was a big kabbalah upon him. He came to Eretz Yisroel, was incredible. And Noshim B'taf that came to welcome us by the airport was an incredible stand-up, an incredible connection to, also outpour of love to the Rebbe. It's not to us, it's not the shluchim, beyond.
What was the shluchus that the Rebbe gave Rabbi Mentik?
The shluchus that Rabbi Mentik gave Rabbi Mentik, I don't know, but the shluchus that he gave was to push it to.
Was it something with Rabbeim?
Rabbeim's a different thing. Rabbeim was, I tell the story. The Rebbe gave him, the Rebbe sent to Rabbeim, the Rebbe sent 10,000 lira, the Rebbe sent to Rabbeim. It's very interesting with Rabbeim, by the way.
The Rebbe sent 10,000 lira to
10,000. I think it was a check of 10,000 lira.
With you.
Sure.
With the group?
With Rabbi Mentik, not with us.
Rabbi Mentik
gave him. Now, what happened with Rabbi was this, just Stamasi. Rabbi Mentik, Rabbi was by the Rebbe. This is just a very fascinating thing that I was there 3 times, so it's just beyond. Rabbi was by the Rebbe in Tav Shon Amud Beis, Yud Nissen. He was the one, Yud Nissen Tav Shon Amud Beis was also crazy, incredible time. Talk about the 70 was just beyond. What?
It's the Shnas HaShivim.
Shnas HaShivim was beyond, was unbelievable. And also during the day, you had a lot of dignitaries that came to the Rebbe that were able to go into the Rebbe. Herman Walk then came as a representative from Nixon, and Rabin came from Eretz Yisroel. He was the official ambassador to Washington. It's very interesting because usually I think the connection here was with the council. But anyway, I don't know, I'm not sure about that. But Rabin came from Washington. Now, Rabin was also different than most of the other Israelis because he was a new guy. I don't think that he knew too much about the Rebbe. He wasn't like he wasn't even Shimon Peres. He wasn't Menachem Begin. He wasn't Shimon Peres. Even Shimon Peres also had some type of Polish upbringing. This is an Israeli that doesn't know much about the Rebbe, and he came and the Rebbe asked him, how does he feel in Washington? Do you ever feel alienated? And he says that he does. He feels a lot, very, very alienated. So the Rebbe told him that, it's hein am levadet yishkel b'goyim le'ischashav. That's what the Rebbe told him.
Am levadet yishkel.
Hein am levadet yishkel, b'goyim le'ischashav. So you're going to be alienated. You look at alienated as in a negative sense, but it's a positive sense. That's the way we are. That's the thing. Anyway, this is the Tav Shon Amud Beis. Tav Shon Amud Vav, we meet with Rabin. Rabin is then the Prime Minister, but we meet with Rabin in the Knesset. We didn't meet him in the...
He was the Prime Minister then?
He was the Prime Minister then, and we were welcomed by everybody again. This was made an incredible, had an incredible upcoming in Eretz Yisroel by everybody. We were by the president, by Katzir was the Katzir was the president. We went to visit the mayor. We had And we went to the Knesset. We met Rabin. We met in the Knesset, and I remember him coming out. He came out with a shirt, short sleeve shirt, without a tie. It was quite neat that he had a few Chaim, as he was, because that he liked the Fabrengen a lot. He was a big Fabrengen, Rabin. And anyway, but Rabbi Mantik was in by him before that. He gave him the check, and he told him also that was the message from the Rebbe, that if he remembers what the Rebbe spoke about, the Hey Nam Levadet Yishkan, by Goyim Hiskashrus.
That was the message that the Rebbe sent.
The Rebbe sent to him. What's very, very interesting is that by the when he had the thing with Carter, with Arafat, with Clinton, with Arafat,
Oslo?
After Oslo, in the White House, they had
the signing.
When they were signing, and they all gave hands, and what the words that he said, and now is not anymore, hey, I'm Levadet like those, now is not anymore.
So he remembers the Rebbe's words, and he's smart.
He said it was in a different context, but that was the bug was there,
right?
The bug is there. Okay,
he knows what the Rebbe says, but he's saying something different. Okay. Among Chassidim is brought to you by Chassidische Der Herr. We live in a chaotic world, a world where for us Chassidim is a seinu, lei ra'inu. We do not have the ability to hear and see the Rebbe on a daily basis. Yet we know that the Rebbe is very much with us, and the Chassidus Chabad is alive and thriving more than ever before. One needs to only tap into it. Chassidische Der Herr provides you and your family with the tools necessary to tap into all of this. Whether it's the monthly magazine, the way it all began, whether it's Der Herr books, Der Herr online content, and so much more. Men, women, and children throughout the world benefit and use these tools on a daily basis. Whether it's children enjoying the children's magazine that comes along with the regular Der Herr, or enjoying the children's podcast. Whether it's Bachrim in yeshivos receiving the Der Herr, whether it's girls in high schools enjoying Der Herr club in their local high school. People all over the world and from all walks of life enjoy and utilize these tools and take advantage of it. If you're not already subscribed to the Herr Monthly Magazine, do so today at derher.org. That's derher.org. Der Herr is a dynamic organization which is committed to continue providing these tools, grow on a constant basis, and do all that we can to help this effort. Baruch Hashem, it takes a lot of resources and finances to make this all happen. You can be part of Der Herr through your financial support as well, through visiting our website derher.org, or through contacting us to setting up a meeting. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the podcast.
I travel a lot now, and I sometimes have trouble to the slow, and it's also very difficult to get there. I say, you can't even get a flight there. Right. It's so difficult.
Isolated.
That's my new title. You can't
even get there.
Isolation, what? It's a disaster. So that's how... anyway,
so what do you got... So you come to Eretz Yisroel, there's a whole Kabbalah upon them. What do you do there?
We learned here. We learned in Tzemach Tzedek.
In Yerushalayim.
In Yerushalayim, in Yeshiva. And we learned in Tzemach Tzedek.
The whole group learned in Tzemach Tzedek?
The whole group, yeah. Yerushalayim and it's fast. Yeah,
two groups.
Two groups. We were in Yerushalayim. We learned in Yerushalayim in Tzemach Tzedek, and we slept in Teres Emes. We'd go to Tzemach Tzedek, we'd be there a whole day, and then go back to Yerushalayim. But we felt the responsibility to bring the Avirah of 770 to Eretz Yisroel. We'd go to Fabrengen, and again, you know, now I get a little bit older than I didn't understand it. But you take a look, the welcoming from you guys over there. I used to give a share in Colel Chabad, okay. That 70, 100 people would come to a share every single week, and she give a share. I mean, come on, give me a break. But the Rebbe shliach, and that's why it's incredible. Just the outpour, as we said before, the connection, the wanting to be connected to the Rebbe. That was the point. To have a connection. That's beyond.
The Rebbe. Yeah.
No question about it. Okay, and I think that, again, Verbinding shluchim would come always. They would give the shliach an incredible place up front, based us, Oh, the Chassidim, nice, basically. Tuvia Broi just passed away. I remember coming to him, we again, had to make sure that the Rebbe's letters wanted to be after Fabrengen, that it should be in the newspapers. I used to go with Berke Wolf to Tuvia, that he should, make a report, give out a Hoda Ali Tanut, to give out a news release. It was unbelievable. We lived in this tiny apartment, 1.5 rooms, okay, but always made place. We were there, mamish, able to do it. There was no such thing, not day, not night. Bachlim, there's no day and there's no night. But it's got to be done.
Yeah.
And Tuvi is much older. Tuvi is 20 years older than me. I'm just thinking about it right now. And he would make himself available, again, the shlichim of the Rebbe. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Never thought about it, but it's you think about it. It's incredible. All the young guys, Meir Shlonim, Meir Freiman, Friedman, everybody, every single place, and the Rabbonim, Rabbi Ashkenazi, Rabbi Sholom, Rabbi Yoslavsky, everybody was incredible.
How long? So how long were you there?
So anyway, what?
How long were you there the first year?
So we went for we were there from Tafshon Lamed Vav till Tafshon. I was there from Tafshon Lamed Vav till Tafshon Lamed Ches, the first time, non-stop.
Vav till Lamed Ches.
Yeah. I came back the first time here was for Yitzvot Lamed Ches. I got engaged. Elu Lamed Zayin. I was engaged. I became.
So 1 second. So I want to hear about that. How did your shidduch happen while you're on shluchus? How did it happen?
My Kala came to visit me in Eretz Yisroel.
So the Bachrim that were on shluchus were getting involved with shidduchim while they're on shluchus?
Yeah.
So you guys knew that it's going to be for a long time, or you thought you didn't know anything?
We didn't know anything.
But the Rebbe told some of you to be involved in shidduchim.
No, I don't remember how it went that we should become involved with shidduchim, but I don't remember. I was the first one actually that did the shidduch. I asked the Rebbe, if they could come. They asked the Rebbe. My father asked the Rebbe. I don't remember that I should ask the Rebbe. My parents asked the Rebbe Mustame if they can talk to me a shidduch from an American girl, and the Rebbe said, "Yeah, Mustame." I don't remember.
So your wife had to go to Yisrael.
My wife went to Yisrael. She came to Yisrael. Yeah.
So and she stayed there, and then while we
were dating, dating for for a week and a half, 2 weeks. It wasn't. It took me very, very fast. I wrote to the Rebbe. I asked the Rebbe, what do you think? And the Rebbe said, yeah, nachan hashidduch b'seiv, v'yehi b'shal teiva mitzrachas.
So this is in the summer.
This was Gimel Slichas, or 2 days before Gimel Slichas, Tavshin Lamed Zayin.
So you had a very long engagement.
You
had a long engagement.
I had a very long engagement, yes. My engagement was, I got married. It's very interesting because I wrote to the Rebbe. So first I asked the Rebbe when we should get married. And the Rebbe answered me that, I don't remember the exact Lashon right now, but the teichen was that going blank right now on this. But the teichen was that because dates are shaykh to the kala.
The dates of the Chassidim.
The dates of the Chassidim shaykh to the kala. So that's I remember. So that after she can get from her a few dates, but us yesh shmokim lechavas da'ashari. That I remember the Rebbe said.
First get the information from the Kala, and then
that's the way I remember said, not this. And I put in 3 dates, and the Rebbe picked the last date. The last date was usually was the last date. Very interesting. Usually the Rebbe is usually the first date, but that's the way it
usually
was.
The Rebbe wants it to be shorter.
And what happened?
But your Kala is behind America, and you're in Eretz Yisroel.
Right. So, but what interesting was that the first 2 dates, there was Lamed Ches with such snow here that one of the dates was impossible to make a chasana. Was partial, not the Mermelstein catered in Jewish Center. He couldn't bring the stuff. It wasn't shaykh to bring the stuff from Young Israel to Jewish Center. There's whack and a half.
In Israel, his kitchen was in Young Israel?
His kitchen was in Young Israel, yeah. So Ad Kedei Kach, that there was he was one of the caterers. There was a few caterers of that day. That's the fact.
So you got married.
I got married here. I got married here.
So it's an interesting thing. Like you left the shluchus to get married, basically.
I left the shluchus to get married. So I asked the Rebbe if I can come to get married. Yes, I left the shluchus to get married. So when I came here for Yud Shvat of Shulamet Chas. Now Yud Shvat I was here, and I don't remember the dates, again, but probably right the day after Yud Shvat, we went to yeshivos for the chasana. So I went with my chassan Kala and also the mechatzanim. My parents went and my in-laws went. That's the way it went. But there was no yeshivos then. It wasn't yeshivos chol. The Rebbe sat in his door. It was after Ramat Ches. So Ramat Ches, yeshivos, the way it worked was that the Rebbe sat in his door. There was like a hospital table that the Rebbe sat by, and you stood in front of the Rebbe, and it was like yeshivos, like the private yeshivos, something like the Gevilim, something like Machni Yisrael, the same type of setup.
So you're standing in Gan Eden Tachten.
So standing in Gan Eden Tachten, but we're standing ourselves. The Rebbe is sitting in Gan Eden Elyon. The Rebbe, there's a hospital table in between the Rebbe's table and
the door.
Yeah, and I think there's a mezuzah on the table and a pushka, Colel Chabad pushka. The Rebbe always have to give a commercial for Colel Chabad.
We'll talk about that soon.
No problem. You have to give a pushka. I have to give a commercial. Okay. So, but there was I'm almost sure there was a Colel Chabad pushka. But anyway, there's and so you're going over. You're standing like in the corner, like where from Label Groner's office. You're standing over there in the corner. There's people that are talking to the Rebbe, and then when they walk away, you walk over. So it's like exactly something like Machni Yisrael. If you remember Machni Yisrael, or I'm sure if you saw videos of Machni Yisrael, I don't know if there's a video of that particular yeshivos. I don't think there is, but that was the setup to a certain extent. And we walk over, and the Rebbe says, "Was tust du da?" Yeah, and I got petrified. You know what I mean? Because I I had the shoes. The Rebbe said, "Mit doch ogerat das Terrain besonder auf yeshivos." That's what he said. Das ist überreden im hiskashrus wenn.
It was decided that you're going to yeshivos by yourself, and you should go find out details of hiskashrus.
I can't say W but a lot of times when the Rebbe would say something, the Rebbe wouldn't say it. The Rebbe would say something to surprise that person. The Rebbe would say metoch ogeret, like Yosel Gutnik, when the Rebbe gave him a second thing of matzah, and everybody only got one, and the Rebbe gave him two. The Rebbe said metoch ogeret, and he gave zwei, something like that. That was I know some other things but that's the way that's the way it was.
So you don't know what's going on. You know that the Rebbe wants you in yeshivos.
Yeah, I don't. That's right, exactly so. I don't know what exactly so. So then a few days later, then the Rebbe gives me brachas for the chassan, and that's it. And then I went to Newark. I was a bacher. I went to Newark. I wasn't here. And then one of the times, Rabbi Chadikov called me. Rabbi Chadikov says...
Well, you didn't go running to Maskidus to find out?
I went to Maskidus, but they didn't know also. I don't remember. Okay. Those details I don't remember. Again, it's not... I don't remember.
So you get a call from Rabbi Chadikov.
Rabbi Yamin told me that to go to Rabbi Chadikov, and together with Avram Baruch Pevner, this was already together with Avram Baruch Pevner, and
he was with you in the first group?
No, he came for Yud Shvat. Yeah, he was with me for the first group.
So everyone came for Yud Shvat?
Not everybody.
Two guys came for Yud Shvat. You came to get married, he came for Yud Shvat.
Yeah, and then he was going to go. He was here for Yud Shvat.
He was a bacher?
He was a bacher, both bacherim. He got married right after me, a week after me. He got engaged also with with an Israeli girl. He went back to the store, but he came over here. He had the shoes. Yeah, other people had the shoes to come. Yeah. Anyway, and Rabbi Chadikov says to me that the Rebbe, or maybe I went myself. I'm not sure. Then I went to a second time. It could be. I don't remember. I don't remember. Okay, but I know that Rabbi Chadikov said to me that the Rebbe wants to be matzi or shlichus to do another slog, and if you're ready to take it. So I said, of course I'm ready to take it. No question about that.
Well, it's before then you thought your shlichus was over? You getting married or whatever?
No, I was going to get married and go back to the store, but I was going to find myself. I didn't know that the Rebbe was going to assign to me what to do.
So it's but the other people, the other Bachrim and Galite that were there, they were already looking for Inyanim to do there, or they were still learning some Machadik the whole time?
I don't know.
It was all developing then, basically.
I don't even remember what I was thinking about. I was, we didn't think about the.
So Chanukah,
status. I don't remember.
got it. So Chanukah was
the
asking
Rebbe
you.
sent a letter then. What the Rebbe then sent a letter. What we could do, that we could get married, and what are the things. I'm almost sure that was Ramat Chas, not Ramat Ches. I'm almost sure.
So it could be it was before then.
The Shluchim, the letter came to Shluchim. That was the letter about the famous letter to the shluchim.
To figure out there. Okay, so basically everyone's figuring out what to do, and you're getting a
I
thing.
don't know if everybody was figuring it out. I don't know how it works out. Was thinking about getting married. Didn't think about figuring out.
I think that's what the Rebbe writes in the letter. The Rebbe writes in the letter that people should get.
Yeah, right. But I don't remember. I was thinking about other things. I was thinking about. But in my own mind, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that.
Okay.
Thinking about other things. Certainly, I did not. Certainly not Colel Chabad, and certainly nothing to do. Doesn't even know what it was. Had no connection.
Got it. Fine. So say the story. So Chanukah asked you
says
for
Rebbe wants to make a shluchus now. He even spoke about it. It's going to be about shuvi yeshiva. He didn't talk in clear words. It wasn't a clear Russian what the job was. Wasn't clear. And so I said, of course I'm ready. Anyway, so he says, yeah, but if you want to, you have to ask your Kal if she's ready. So I said, I know for sure she's ready. He says, no, you have to ask her, and you can't give me an answer before 24 hours.
But your wife Bechlal knew what she was getting into. She came to sell this to meet you.
And she knows she's going to sell it to slow. But what we're going to do that to slow, and what's going to happen, that we didn't.
She had to wait 24 hours.
That we didn't know. Anyway, I came back. Anyway, I don't remember when Binyamin told us, but Binyamin said that it's going to be yeshivos together with the Rebbe, and the yeshivos is going to be on Friday morning. I'm getting married on Sunday. Friday morning is yeshivos by the Rebbe. Friday at 11 o'clock. But so we went to Galeden Tachten. Me and Avram Baruch Pevsner were sitting in Galeden Tachten. You're able to hear, not words, but you're able to hear Mama's Rebbe's voice. Rabbi Chazakov was in by the Rebbe. You're able to hear the Rebbe's voice. I don't remember, didn't make. Anyway, at 11:20 approximately, the Rebbe came out. The Rebbe came out, was standing by the door. The Rebbe opened the door. The Rebbe came out. The Rebbe was, first Rabbi Chazakov left, and then the Rebbe came out. The Rebbe was holding in his hand 2 tanyas. The Rebbe was holding. I remember even during the Rebbe like flickered, there was a soft covered tanyas, basically. Flicked the pages. And the Rebbe spoke about as if he put on the slogan. There was a whole yeshivos of 7 minutes approximately that the Rebbe spoke about that as if he put on the slogan, and with the yeshiva. Then the yeshiva was going to be on the Colel Chabad. Later it changed that it's going to go back to Taylor Semis, but it was at least at that moment. And the Rebbe said about opening it up in our Beis Chabad in Yerushalayim, our Tikko, and our Beis Chabad in Yerushalayim Chadosho, and the Rebbe spoke about also that Azebi is very strong, that everything should be b'dayka leim, b'dayka shogim, not to be machaikas. The whole, perhaps someplace written down, the whole yeshivos from the Rebbe. And then the Rebbe finished, and then the Rebbe says, "Yet verstanden," and it didn't look like we understood everything. So the Rebbe says, "Es guckt sich das nicht aus." The Rebbe says, "Kapani mit sich übertrachten, überreden, and some of the haben scheigers that it is a chiberin mit Rav Chadakov." So that was the, but that's when we got, that's when, the Rebbe then said also, as eine von euch hat sich von einem Begashmius, eine mit Ruchnius, hat sich von einem mit Gius Gsofim, von Colel Chabad, raise money, right, to raise money.
So the Rebbe is mentioning a bunch of things, and included in that is Colel Chabad.
But under Colel Chabad, that was the whole thing was under.
The whole thing was about Colel Chabad, and they were saying different things about the Chabad.
Also, but Beis Chabad in Yerushalayim Atika, if you need it in the Beis Chabad in Yerushalayim Chadosha, that's what the Rebbe definitely spoke about that too. Yes.
But that's not what you did.
We did do it when we started. We were going to do a Beis Chabad. Beis Chabad. We were thinking about opening a Beis Chabad in Yer Chadosha, but it didn't work out. We started. We were thinking about it later. That's a separate story for itself.
But you understood basically from that yeshivos that it was all about Colel Chabad.
I didn't understand anything.
Okay, so what happened?
Okay. Very hard to say what I understood, what I didn't understand. Okay? wasn't clear to me. I mean, it was clear that we work under Colel Chabad. It was clear that we go and we take care of the shluchim. That was clear. Okay, that we're in charge of the shluchim that went to Eretz Yisroel, that third group of shluchim. That was clear. It was clear that we work for Colel Chabad. Okay, it was clear that a half a day we were in the Colel Chabad. It was clear that another half a day we were under Colel Chabad. But it was clear that we're going to do whatever work under the Mizgaris of Colel Chabad, how it's going to work out in terms of a Beis Chabad in Yerushalayim Atik and a Beis Chabad in Yerushalayim HaChadasha. That was clear.
Did you go to Rabbi Chanukah for clarification and all this, or you didn't know? You remember?
No.
So
That's what I remember.
So you got married and you went back to Eretz Yisroel.
I got married, went back to Eretz Yisroel.
Yeah. What you knew anything about Colel Chabad before?
No.
So how do you figure out what's going on? Like, how does that work?
I didn't figure out. I went back to Eretz Yisroel. I mean, I knew Colel Chabad because I got money from Colel Chabad from my peugas as a bocher. So I knew the people there. I knew all the players. I knew. Okay, I knew the Askoni Chabad. I knew Shlomo Kamadanchik. I knew Ephraim Wolf. I started, dabbling. We started dabbling. What we can do this. We can do this. We're doing everything. And we're bochlim, and the sky's the limit, and beyond the sky you shoot for the stars.
So maybe you could tell me a little bit about Colel Chabad. What is it? What is it supposed to do? Like, you just give me the Rashi Prakim.
Colel Chabad was set up by the Alter Rebbe. It's a fund to be able to help Yidden in Eretz Yisroel. That's what the fund was, and that was when we came to Eretz Yisroel, Colel Chabad had a koigel, Tzemach Tzedek, and gave money for helped out families before Pesach and before Rosh Hashanah. Helped out families, helped out some almonas, helped out some carrying rights, and they had also a mifal krita, an absorption that worked with Olim Chadashim. There was a lot of Russians that came, that they had Mesiba Shabbos program for them, they had clubs for them, they had kindergartens for them. That's basically what Colel Chabad did. And they helped out some organizations that wrote to them to ask them for help, that they helped them. Where did they have the money from? Some of the money was raised from the outside people that sent money, and also from the base. They had the cemetery that people bought places, and that was like
Yerushalayim,
and that was like a source of income for them at that time. That was that's as far as what Colel Chabad was then. Okay.
So when you come to Eretz Yisroel and you started
So
doing
when it comes to
stuff?
Eretz Yisroel, so first of all, we started trying to. So a half a day we were in Colel, and a half a day, and I was giving a share in Chassidim to the Bochrim in Tzemach Tzedek Shul, and from they slept in Taylor Samus, and I started organizing things, try to build connections. We started, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that. We were thinking maybe we'll build a shikun, maybe we'll build, we wanted to do a Beis Chabad in the new city, that we were thinking to take an apartment and to rent a place, but the Rebbe then was sheiru. That was, different types of things that we're trying to do. Trying to organize halash, you should be able to do mifsoyim, whatever it was, then to do the Rebbe's work.
So, and you started raising money right away?
And I started. My first fundraising trip was a few months later.
From Eretz Yisroel, you went for a fundraising trip.
I went to Europe to raise money. I wanted to raise money. First, I wrote to the Rebbe going to Australia, but the Rebbe was sheirugot, and then I went. But my first fundraising trip was I went on the way here, Tafshin Lamates, I started raising money there. I made some contact with government officers to make money. So that's what I was working on, but not in terms of fundraising on the outside. My first, I organized also. I did organize a Mangaba Malka that I organized, but I had friends of mine that were here that they made Tafshon Ramat Ches, Summer Ramat Ches. There was a Mangaba Malka for Colel Chabad. That was the first Mangaba Malka, but I was not here for that Mangaba Malka. It was done remotely. And my first fundraising trip was in Odel of Ramat that I went to London and to Paris, and to London and to Paris.
Okay,
that's
so
where I went. That's where I went, and
so
I came here for Pesach.
You came here for Pesach.
For Pesach Ramat, correct.
So what happened afterwards?
Okay, so now when I came here for Pesach Ramat, when I came here for Pesach Ramat, we were here, and Pesach was over on Wednesday. Pesach was over Thursday, and I went to yeshivos on Monday night. I went to yeshivos, okay, and the Rebbe started that yeshivos I got to have mugadik. First of all, if the Rebbe asked if I was still learning in Colel for half a day, and I said that yes. And then the Rebbe started that I wrote to the Rebbe. I was questioning if I wanted to do a fundraising trip over here to go to cities, to go to Florida, Shalom Lipskis, and then he would help me then. And the Rebbe started that, again, I wish I should have looked at this before, that I was in yeshivos together with Feigi and with Goldie. Goldie was born already by then.
Your daughter?
My daughter. The Rebbe was that he was hoping that he was hoping with Colel Chabad that we were really going to make progress. And I was very, very disappointed. Basically, there's other Colel Shem Lachemus. They have dinners and they have banquets and they do things. And this is a message from the Rebbe that the Rebbe was Rabbeim and nothing. There's in New York there 2 million Juden, 1,990,000. In New York there's 2 million Jews, and 1,990,000 don't even know that there's such a thing as a Colel Chabad. The whole you sent the whole thing, the whole campaign is a couple of thousand letters that you send out. That who knows if the addresses are even good. So he says, he doesn't see to go to little cities to raise money. That you can do through committees, but you have to really build up. I was hoping, the Rebbe said, that I sent you and Pesnitz at the slow, and I was really hoping that you guys are going to really build up this institution. And basically a very, very big disappointment. And the Rebbe said, but hopefully that you still will, and if not, the Rebbe used very sharp words, okay? But, and then the Rebbe
if
said...
not what?
Eben nicht, Rebbe is chas v'shalom was mit lafen ton, that's what the Rebbe said. But the Rebbe, yeah. But, and then and then the Rebbe said, that he asked me how long I'm staying. I said for another week. So he says, so you have time to work. And Shabbos be'efen amutter. If you have something special, I could speak about it by the Fabringen. The Rebbe said Shabbos be Fabringen. I'll speak about it by the Fabringen.
I mean, if you have something special.
If you're going to make an event or something that and the Rebbe said that every single thing is, if there's your gaito is mematzliach, if you work diligent, so then you're successful. So certainly an institution that the Rebbe was established, and that every single Rebbe was head of it. So if you put in a little bit of effort, you'll have incredible successes. There'll be incredible successes. And the Rebbe said, okay, there'll be tremendous successes. And the that's what the yeshivos finished. Then the Rebbe gave my wife $1 and the baby $1. And then the Rebbe gave like me, so he says, like the barabos doretzter, the barabais or something like that. I didn't say barabos. I remember something along those lines, like to sue that you're the worst. But so that was that yeshivos, which took place on Chav Zayin Adar. Of course, I went out and Chav Zayin listen. And then, of course, I went out and again, like I told you, it was a Monday night, and started really,
I can imagine that yeshivos lit a fire.
You can't imagine. There's nobody that you can imagine. I mean, it was beyond anything. It was a very, very major shake-up. Major shake-up. Anyway, we tried to bring some people, but the most important thing that I felt is if you want to set up something, whatever you're going to set up, if you're not going to have a person, that person is going to run it, so then it's, so as much as I put together and I put it in the paper and put out some things, but I knew that if you're not going to have a person that's going to open an office here and is going to spearhead a fundraising campaign, it's just not going to work. So we have to find the person who's the person that we could find. So I wrote to the Rebbe. I got answers on every single thing. There isn't one question, almost no question that I didn't get an answer. If I didn't get an answer, there was no answer. But there was also there's no answer. So the Rebbe said also to be very, very careful to take a person that you can't push it. The only one that's only if a guy that'll prove himself after a year, you can't give away the institution. A very interesting thing also which was very, very interesting, when I wrote to the Rebbe on Friday, I gave the Rebbe a report of what went on and what the things that we're doing, what we're thinking about, and so I wrote to the Rebbe, to the Rebbe what I did after the yeshivos. So the Rebbe wrote me, "Ma nasa because the kidam yeshivos." The Rebbe asked me, "Ma nasa because the kidam yeshivos." What was done on this before the yeshivos? Which
what does that mean? The Rebbe wants to know.
Yeah, what did you do before? He wanted a report. The report, the Rebbe wanted very much a report from before. I did not do much. Again, like I told you, that's why I told you before that Achar Pesach was over on Thursday night. So basically, before the yeshivos was Friday and Shabbos and
so that meant immediately before.
What?
The Rebbe meant immediately before. Like not.
I don't know what the Rebbe meant. I know what the Rebbe wrote. But I ignored that. I didn't answer because I didn't do much. So what am I going to write? Just to make a joke. And the next time, before my next letter, the Rebbe wrote me, the Rebbe didn't leave go until I wrote that I didn't do much or whatever I did, a few guys that I did on Yontif, so what, but that's the way it was. That's the way, that's anyway, I had somebody that I had in mind that I asked, that I thought that maybe he would be very, very good, and the Rebbe was got a very sharp answer from the Rebbe. But most of the answers I think are in the book, in Tafshin Amates, in a lot of the minus, legal schedules that came out. Mm-hmm. So I think, I can't say that all of them are there, but many of them are there, many of the answers. And I remember the Rebbe answered for this particularly. I had a meeting with a few prominent Colel Chabad, and the Rebbe wrote me, "Yikabetz 8 pames kol echad ve'echad b'hanal, v'yodunu b'she'era hachib shuta, mataras hamanal harishena hirovi b'kesher im ere sheheim mechutz l'shpitz Chabad v'hamshicham. B'med don askali anash b'kei b'drosh, ובו גדי מסכון לברורה, שהוא המסים והחיטי בנעל, שיהיה בו כיח לקהל חב"ד שבארץ הקדש, ושינעל מסו מתן עם אגודס הרבונים וכו' בשם הקהל, ובטח יודיעני הטעם וההסברה לכל אחד ואחד מהנעל. I wrote to the Rebbe of a meeting that I had with a bunch of people. Could you imagine that? And the Rebbe writes that take them all together or talk on the telephone, that the focus or the goal of the Menahor is to reach out to those that are beyond Spitz Chabad and to bring them in to support the Kehil. So what was Askali Anash that he thought, with the real Bekivet Rosh, with diligently, and they came to the conclusion that this person is, the Rebbe asked me before, what did he do before, what's his experience?
This person, this Hatzah that you had, yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm just telling you, it wasn't yes and no, I'm giving you a
didn't really like
framework of how,
Rebbe didn't like this Hatzah, this person.
Of course he didn't like my Hatzah, but it's just interesting. He didn't write had Hatzah later. The Rebbe wrote no, but this is the way he gave me he wrote you what the Menah is supposed to be. He said, and he should have a master to go to Salabonim. And what kind of person? Anyway, I was hit a wall. So Rabbi Chadikov called me. Rabbi Chadikov told me I was planning to go back to Eretz Yisroel. That was my plan. I sent my things to Eretz Yisroel. I sent a shipment, and he told me that he wants to be Matzia HaHatzor, that I should write to the Rebbe that he was Matzia, that I should stay here to run the office of Colel Chabad.
You should be the Menah yourself.
I should be the Menah of Colel Chabad myself. Yes, that's what I should propose. He's not giving me from the Rebbe. It's his thought to me that I should be Matzia to the Rebbe. He's Matzia me. Even though before that, when I spoke to him originally, I once threw in such a thought to him that maybe it should be me, and he brushed it off in his way.
You tried this before.
What?
You thought of this before?
I thought of it on my own. when things were going in a tough way, and I suggested such a thing to him, not to the Rebbe. I mean, because I said maybe I should suggest myself. And he threw. But anyway, he told me that he called me and he told me that I should write to the Rebbe. He's Matzia me if I want to. That's what I think that he should do it, which obviously, of course, I did. And that's why Rabbi Chadikov was very, very important to me. And I wrote to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe answered that his Hatzah was for a year, not for always. Be'im yavid b'merit to be yuzma b'initiativ, be'im yavid b'merit to be yuzma b'initiativ, so I should stay for a year.
Say it in English.
If I will work with bemerits, with energetic or enthusiasm, I don't know, and yuzma is initiative, so then I should stay for a year.
Or something else.
Initiative. I don't know what yuzma is.
Okay.
What initiative. I never.
So the Rebbe gave you two
names.
names.
Google. We'll get the tnoim. That was the tnoim. Merit yuzma initiative. And so that was the Tafshon Amates. And then I stayed here a year and worked on certain things. And then a year later, I wrote to the Rebbe and I asked the Rebbe, so the Rebbe wrote, but Be'im Yaved B'meretu B'yuzma Sholeini Lisadato. So then I should stay here.
You have to get news.
If he didn't show till now, so I should stay. But so
it was giving you starke tnoim to do this.
Starke tnoim, and also that I didn't demonstrate it's not visible the merit and the yuzma from that year, from the first year. But anyway, that's the way it came about.
So that's how you stayed in New York.
That's why I stayed in New York.
But Colel Chabad is giving services in Israel, so you have someone else there.
In the beginning, Colel Chabad, we sent money only to New York. We didn't take care of anything, any services in Israel. It was just they did the service in Israel. Abdul Baruch was in Israel.
He was there, so he was doing stuff there.
Yeah. Then Tafshimam Gimel, they had a big problem over there, and they fell into big chayvus, and there was an issue.
Because it was running separately, basically.
Wasn't running separately. I mean, I was involved. I was part of the Antoga. First of all, like this. First of all, when the Rebbe gave us, the yeshivos was on Yud Oder Aleph Tov Lamed Ches. But in Chedesh Ir Tov Lamed Ches, the Rabbi Zevin passed away. Harav Slonim used to be the Menar of Colel Chabad. When he passed away, Baruch Hashem, each one of the Menarim of Colel Chabad, or the Anhog of Colel Chabad, were all handpicked by the Rabbeim, all the way through, starting from Lau to Rebbe. So when Harav Slonim passed away, the Rebbe wrote a letter that Colel Chabad should. Among Colel Chabad was also Mezes Chilul Chabad was also part of Colel Chabad. The Rebbe then made separated. So when we came, Colel Chabad was run by Harav Zevin, but Harav Zevin passed away, and then the Rebbe, then Harav wrote to Colel, when he passed away. He passed away. He passed away, and they wrote to the Rebbe. But the Rebbe wrote, there's a letter from the Rebbe to the Igros that me and Rebbe Baruch should go into Colel Chabad and then Harav Colel Chabad. So we were in horaos Colel Chabad. I wasn't on horaos Colel Chabad, even though I was here. But I took a little part, what should be done. But I basically...
Raising money.
So
what happened in Mem Gimel?
Mem Gimel, there was a big problem because it wasn't possible to operate over there. So I took in and I started doing projects in Eretz Yisroel from here. So under my... was a Sfadazach, and the Rebbe gave me, it was very, very strong words from the Rebbe about it to make sure that everything goes through the proper way. But we did it, we undertook it from Baruch Hashem.
So you ran into the Rebbe about this whole thing? That
I didn't write to the Rebbe. I never wrote to the Rebbe general things. I wrote to the Rebbe about the Pu'ura. Okay, so I wrote to the Rebbe that we're going to help families for Pesach. Okay, and the Rebbe wrote me, how do you know that you're sitting up? The Rebbe didn't say that, but how do you know that you're going to make sure that every single family is these are the families that need? How are you going to make sure, and how are you going to make sure that every dollar is going to go to the right place? Okay, and okay. And Rabbi and very sharp, and the Rebbe sent me a message through one of the secretaries that that I can do whatever I want, but I should know that I'm personally responsible for every single dollar from Colel Chabad, for every single dollar of Colel Chabad. Okay. But I did it. I took responsibility, and I did it. Right. And then I got a very, very warm response. The Rebbe asked, the next couple of days later, the Rebbe asked, what'd you do? Did you send the money? You didn't send the money? And I wrote that I sent the money. The Rebbe wrote me, Number one, you should take responsibility, strong responsibility, very, very sharp responsibility. And, I took responsibility, and we did it.
Okay, so let me just try to understand. So you started doing pu'ulas, I guess, like the Colel Chabad office in New York is doing pu'ulas?
Yeah.
And then after the whole whatever, it became one thing.
Yes, I run the things from New York. Whatever projects I do my project.
I have my people. Today.
I have my people that they run the people for me. I'm the boss.
Interesting. I'm saying it's a big thing to run an organization in Eretz Yisroel from New York.
It's a very big thing, but that's the way it is. That's the basis. But you asked me about general. If I asked the Rebbe, I never asked. That's what I'm telling you. Do I have a clear? I never asked the Rebbe general things. I always asked for a specific thing.
Right.
I didn't ask for, something of action that's negated to this. Should I do it? I shouldn't do it. Should I open this project? I shouldn't open this project. And some projects that the Rebbe said to open, and some projects the Rebbe said not to open.
Okay. What were things that the Rebbe said not to that you remember? Do you remember any of them?
The Rebbe said not to. So what?
I'm interesting. I'm not interested. People want to know how. People want to know how to do things according to the way the Rebbe wants. So sometimes it helps them to know things that the Rebbe was shayla.
We'll leave it at this.
Okay. So What were some horaos you got in the beginning? Like you're setting up an office, like
I got hilos on every single step, every single. But I mean, again, step. What were hilos in hilos? I just gave you hilos. I have to make sure that every dollar that goes through is the right way. That personal responsibility for the monies. That's the basis. The Rebbe was very, very. I got once an answer from the Rebbe on Mamish these days. Mamish these days in the 3 weeks was tough shin. I remember Mem Bezer, Mem Gimel. Okay. So the Rebbe wrote me that we had something that I had to take care of in Toronto. Tactical things, and I had pushkas to take care of, and I asked Rabbi Lipsker to go to Shmuel Lipsker, who worked with me all the years, to go to Toronto. And he wrote to the Rebbe, he's going to Toronto. So he asked the Rebbe for a bracha. So when the Rebbe came back from the AO, I think almost sure Erev Tammuz, and the Rebbe, so he got a phone call. Actually, it was in the country. He got a phone call from Rabbi Chadakov. Okay, the Rebbe sent out a note that Kibalti Ze'ato Piska with Imbakoshes Brocha Malav Shmu Shiach Lipsker Bekesher in Sia Toronto. Is there a reason why I don't go? Why he's going? Not Hayesh Tam Shuein Sia Ba'atzmei. That's what the Rebbe asked. So I wrote to the Rebbe that it was whatever, he's the person that takes care of the technical things, and we're trying to build up a pushka program there, and he's the person that's taking care of it. And that's where he went. So the Rebbe wrote me back, Mituve l'shleach duch miporeisov, b'meshach chedesh Tammuz. So I sent him a full duch of my pogus. And so then the Rebbe asked, Chosakan, Chnosa v'yitzor. This is already going into. It could be that it wasn't Erev Chedesh. I'm sorry. It could be it was Hey Melachamov. I don't believe it was Erev Chedesh. It was Hey Melachamov when the Rebbe came from the Yale. That's what I'm thinking about.
Erev wants a report, financial report.
Yeah, financial report. So I sent a financial report of exactly what was spent, the basis. So the Rebbe sent a financial report, and this was already came into Tisha B'Av, Erev Tisha B'Av. And I'll never forget that right after Tisha B'Av, right before Tisha B'Av, right before the fast, from Mincha, when I sent the report to the Rebbe, sent out the report every single, about the Rebbe asked for. So first I sent financial report, financial statement, expenses, salaries, this, that. I should write then the Rebbe asked for a detail on every single backup, on every single thing, what was, salaries for who, and so I wrote in, this one gets $350 a month, that's what their job is, this one gets, and so the Rebbe, each person, Rebbe went through line by line, how come do we really need this person, what does he do, and what does he do, and what does she do, and very, mamish, line by line, item by item, very, very, one of the things that we had the Machne Yisroel house that we rented then, and we had
that was the office?
Five rooms. That was the office in Colel Chabad, and we spent it was $500 rent for so what is a mason doing in 5 rooms? How many rooms does Americans have in Beislivke? Like very basis. That was on Erev Chedesh. That was on Erev Tisha B'Av right before the fast. So I sat down. I wrote a report, of what my vision of Colel Chabad is, and just went through, what the purpose of every single thing was.
So you didn't take it like, okay, fine. So we're canceling the 5 rooms. We're canceling the salaries. You took let me explain to Rebbe what this is.
I was an idiot. Yes, I did. That's exactly what I did.
Now you think you're an idiot for doing that?
Do I think I was an idiot? I don't know. But that's what I did. There's no question now. To a certain extent, of course I was an idiot. But to a certain question, a certain yes, to a certain way, anyway. But, this is fact. This is water under the bridge. Would I do it today different? I would do it today different. But anyway, but I wrote in I sent in I don't know if I have it, but a 15-page, very comprehensive vision, and what you have to understand also, we needed people, there was, if you wanted to have the recording and remember the things and there was no computers, everything had to be done by paper, by cards.
Today you need people, right? That's how it works.
Anyway, so I thought to myself, and I didn't get an answer. This
whole thing.
I wrote it, but didn't get an answer. This was Tug Charamei Tzukis. Okay? Charamei Tzukis, I wrote, I wanted to take somebody else to work on open another division of another part of Colel Chabad. And the Rebbe wrote me, it seems that you didn't understand in general what I spoke to you, so therefore I have no choice but to tell you in great detail that you're wasting on it, that the expense of the Colel is just too much, exuberant, and you think that an organized institution is if every person has every part has a director, and this director has an office, and this office has a secretary, it has a telephone, and you think that's organized. The organization is, the real organization is that you have much less people, and every one of them is filled up to his capacity. And therefore, right now, not only shouldn't you take another person, but you should take off 10% of your staff and heg them as a yeshubach, and something. I don't remember it's written again. I don't know, maybe I don't know if it's an English, but anyway, it's. Many people have seen the letter I've based this. So it became a very big issue because, I was at capacity. I didn't think that I could. So I wrote to the Rebbe, but the Rebbe writes, and I should let him know. I don't remember exactly the Russian. These things we should write the Russian. We should look at the Russian. So I wrote to the Rebbe that from now on, every single person in Colel Chabad gets paid only by the hour. There is no salaries. There is no, if there's work. The Rebbe took it. Yeah, that's it. So I smuggled my way through, so I didn't have to make any cuts, and everything worked out. But it's interesting, right then, when the Rebbe wrote me about the rooms, about a week or two later, mamash a week or two later, came up 806 that I was able to buy it from the fire, and build. My vision was to build it was done on the fire. We bought it for $17,000. We bought the building, and my vision was to go to people of means and to get them to. But there's no concept here. People having apartments here to build condos upstairs, and the people that are upstairs should pay for the whole building, for buying for everything. I'll do the work. I'll fix up the place. And I went to Barrow Weiss, then I went to Lipski from South Africa, that South Africa should have here, and I put it together, the deal, and I thought to myself, after the 5 years, what am I going to do? It wasn't negotiated, it wasn't finalized, but it was almost finalized. But I wrote to the Rebbe, and I wrote to the Rebbe, going to demand work from me to do it. And the Rebbe, I cut out the tzatzel and everything. The Rebbe gave a big yes, and with the work that you're going to do, so together with the 5, it's one thing to rent 5 rooms, another thing to to do a building and to do things the right way, and and build it. So again, you'll figure it out. And, so I can't,
So what's the hira? The hira is that they have to. That's how you have to operate.
The hira is that you. I don't know what the hira is.
No, because today, if you want to have a meisid and you want things to get done, people are not working for free. And every step needs to be hired. You have to hire people. Like everything.
It's nothing to do. We also at the same time when the Rebbe, very interesting is you bring that up. Okay, the Rebbe understands that people have to get paid and people have to be hired, and very interesting that The halo that you have to watch. You have to be very, very careful when things are of your success. You have to, when you're successful, you have to be more careful than when things are going tough.
So you're saying,
I wanted to bring that out.
So you're saying,
okay, I put in right before that. It wasn't that I was wild. Okay, in 1981. Okay, Cheshvan. This was in Tammuz. Okay, I don't remember if it's a year before or 18 months before. I can't tell you for sure. But I sent in a report to the Rebbe, financial report, and I have the report till now. Okay, and the report was it was Mem Aleph. We sent in a report, okay, that we had our gross receipts was $250,000, okay. Our expenses was $100,000, okay, and we sent $150,000 to the slow, okay, and okay, so it wasn't that I was in the minus. Right. Okay, and this is after 18 months. It's also building an infrastructure. It's building an office, building an infrastructure. All these things is tremendous amount of investment. Okay, I would do it today if somebody would come to me today and say, you know what, I'm going to go open an office for you in I don't want to say a state, because the minute I say a state, I'll get a husband to tailor that. I don't want to do that. But you know, from Mars, you know, because he could send me a tailor. Elon Musk could maybe be masman me. So, but in Mars, if I want to open up, and the guy will tell me that after a year or 18 months. He's going to build me an office and infrastructure, and he'll bring me $150,000. Even the money from that, even $150,000. I won't talk about dollars compared to inflation. I would say to inflation. I would say do it. Right. So it's not that, but nevertheless, at the same time, the Rebbe wanted that you should know that Colel Chabad is a holy mesa. It's like the Rebbe spoke about many times. That's kaspe admar azoken.
So, okay? Because there was quote unquote success. Therefore, the Rebbe is telling you
1,000,000%. I have no question about that.
Like, don't lose focus.
Don't lose focus. 1,000,000%. I think that's the hero.
Was there ever a time that there was a hachnas heitzah problem?
What do you mean? If we made less money than if we had money? No, we didn't know. But I didn't have. I'm a fundraising organization. You said that, right. So of course I could watch that. But Baruch Hashem, not. You know, we're
to put it in context, $250,000. That was the budget. I mean, that was the achnas. I'm sure today it's in the hundreds of millions. I'm saying
today we have we get a lot of money from the government. We were able to pull off something that very few people are able to pull off. Okay, that we got a partnership with the government, and that we execute things for the government. Colel Chabad. Right. We are their arm when it comes to food, and also we have an infrastructure that's second to none that we put into place. So even when the government wants to do certain things that they want to give out money to their people, we have the contracts in place, and they can move, and you know, they don't have to do no tenders. They don't have to do, because we have everything in place. Okay, so we have an infrastructure that was set up, Baruch Hashem, that the government can take advantage of. During COVID, the government wants to give out, or Daddy got money. It was got money that he wants to give out to poor people, and in fact, we gave an offer, but we came in second. Okay, we came in second. Okay, there was first. There was someone that came in front of us at first, and we came in second. But the third was upset. They said that the first wasn't a proper way, and they went and they sued. And because of that, we're second. So we were the third won. You understand? The third person won the suit against the first.
So, but you're in front.
So we came, but we were in front because we didn't want to sue. The reason why we didn't want to sue was because if we're going to sue, it may hold up the money, and poor Jews are not going to get the money because of our suit. So we didn't want to sue. Nah. Okay, so we stayed out of it. But Lepeo, they sued. We're second. So that alone was a few $100 million that we were able to give out. That we had
ongoing.
We had the Kelim. It's not ongoing. That was point out. We have ongoing. We have right now our contract with the government. Right now it's going to be probably about $100 million for the next year. We have a tender right now that's in the works for the next 5 years. But
so let me go back a little bit. So you're going around and you're fundraising, you're making a kasher with a lot of balabat, not Spitz Chabad, right? So, Are you the connection that some of these people have with the Rebbe? Some of these Balabatim and their stories? I know
Always, but that was the most important thing, was to being Balabatim close to the Rebbe.
So tell me about that.
So first of all, it was an incredible avenue for me. First of all, it was in the olden days, it was very difficult because no yeshivos, no basis. But for Kesho Baracha, anybody around New York, I used to try to bring people to the Rebbe. I used to try to bring people to Latach. It was a tremendous tool for fundraising, that we were able to get people come to the Rebbe. So that was an amazing thing. And of course, done by dollars. And then, people that had issues, I wrote to the Rebbe, but, I always encourage people to write to the Rebbe, to ask the Rebbe, and to get brachas from the Rebbe, and advice from the Rebbe. And Baruch Hashem, got unbelievable advice.
Do you remember any specific stories that are important?
A lot of stories, guys, that on currency that they had short positions, if they should sell out or not, and the Rebbe said they should hedge. Guys from Brazil, guys, the real estate deals, that they should buy or they should sell, and what the Rebbe told them. I'm not very clear.
And you also brought people to Machne Yisrael, to the development fund.
I brought people to Machne Yisrael. Baruch Hashem. I think we had 1 million of people that we had.
1 million?
I think so.
I saw something recently. You wrote to the Rebbe that you feel timid about fundraising, especially amongst Anash, something like that. Well, what was that?
No, I asked for a bracha.
Well, what did you write?
I don't remember. You saw it, so.
I only heard about it.
You can go on the WhatsApp, you can see. I don't remember exactly. I wrote to the Rebbe, Mr. Ahmed, that I'm not sure, people that I feel close to, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
I thought, I don't remember.
What did you remember the Rebbe respond?
I don't remember what I wrote. I don't remember what I wrote. I remember right now. I don't remember. No, not because.
Okay, no,
I'm not.
Someone just told me about.
I don't hold anything back. Everything is that basis. I'm not.
Someone told me it was printed recently, but I don't.
Anything that I got from the Rebbe, I don't hold. I don't say anything, but very few things that I hold back.
Is there anything that you wrote to the Rebbe, like methods of fundraising that you got horaos for, or how to fundraise, how to approach people? Anything that you can recall? Like that?
No.
Okay, fine.
I didn't write. I don't think so. I don't think that I did. But I don't remember. No. Not that I know. I do know again that and that's what I wanted to tell you. There was another thing we sent in our first brochure. That's what you were talking about. About spending and expenditures, etc. That I wrote to the Rebbe about. We sent in our first brochure. What the brochure was a mailing piece that we were going to do. It was a brochure of 2 centuries of services. That was the headline: 2 centuries of services to the poor of Israel. So the Rebbe answered the skab of a tach. I don't want to say the standard answer, because nothing but the Rebbe is a standard answer. Anybody that says you got to be an idiot to say the Rebbe is a standard answer. The Rebbe answered every single person, him. Just because the other person got the other answer, that doesn't mean anything. That's basis. Like you tell me when the Rebbe said ask Elatzin to you and said ask Elatzin to him, that he can tell me it's a standard answer. It's not a standard answer. It's ask Elatzin to you on your answer, and ask Elatzin to him on his answer. So that was very, very personal. That's one of the things that we know. We could see it wasn't the Rebbe of Chassidim, it was the Rebbe of Rabbi Sholom. Rebbe has a personal and direct connection to every single one of us, and wants to know by every single one of us what we do, and wants to have a report from every single person, and other yemazan. The Rebbe says very, very clear. There's nothing more clear than the Rebbe says that he wants to know personally by every single chassid, by every single one of the people, of what's going on. The Rebbe is a Rebbe of a neshama plotis, not a neshama. He's a neshama klogis, but the Rebbe's klogis is in plotis, not in the general, but at least for just using it as a slang, but not that's what I mean. Like yesterday, even though Rabbi Groner had it printed out and he took out that piece of paper and put it on the clip, but that doesn't. But Rebbe answered that, and Rebbe probably wrote the skabel. He wrote the 3 lines. He didn't write, but it was to you. But anyway. Just for the sake of this conversation, the next day the Rebbe writes back, okay, that so then when they got it back, Okay, so they would give me the answer. He gave me the answer. Then it would go back to the Rebbe, and they would make a check that they gave over the answer. Right, that's the way the maskira went. You wrote a letter to the Rebbe answered you, then the Rebbe made a check, and then the maskir would give you the answer, show you the answer, and then so the brochure comes back to me. The Rebbe, and the Rebbe writes the next day that I got this, and I got it back. How come? And the Rebbe asked, why is it 2 centuries of services to Yerushalayim? My publicist thought that Yerushalayim has a ring to it. Israel is just generally Jerusalem. Jerusalem, has a special. So why Yerushalayim not the Eretz Yisroel? Colel Chabad the Eretz Yisroel. But the Iker is also that how come it's not colored? Okay, and how come there's no Russian Kaddish? It look strange that there's no Russian Kaddish. Okay, at that time, that was but how come not colored? Okay, we're talking about the early '80s. Okay, colored was so it wasn't so it's not that the Rebbe, that's what I'm telling you, the Rebbe didn't understand that you need people and you need colored. And the Rebbe asked me, who's your consultant on this? So the Rebbe, believed in consultants, but again, every single thing goes so with in what way, again. Famous story with Tzlotstein, basically. I thought already I'm figuring him out, and then I find out I can't. Figure out.
Yeah, on your toes, keeping on your toes.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's on your toes, and keep you on your toes. It's a chassid in Baruch Hashem. We have a tremendous chassid to be looked out, to be able to have a glimpse into such a perspective. Forget about working with such a thing, just a glimpse, just to be able to. This is beyond anything.
I want to ask you also about the pushkas.
Yeah.
So first of all, there's a few things. First of all, I think the Rebbe, every time he went to the Eil, gave Colel Chabad a check, right?
I can't say that every time the Rebbe went to the Eil, but I know that a lot of times the Rebbe went to the Eil, we'd get $100 from the Rebbe. And I remember a very, very clear, crazy story that the first time that Rabbi Grona calls me up and says, could you please bring me a receipt for $100 made out to the Rebbe? And this is before computers and before a personal
receipt.
A receipt made out to the Rebbe. So I write it. I write the receipt. And I write $100, and I come to Rabbi Gordon. I give him the receipt, and I get my $100, and I go back to the office. And then he calls back like a few minutes later. He says, the Rebbe wants to know. He's not sure if the IRS would recognize as the proper receipt. So I said, please write Rabbi MM, the name, like a normal human being. He didn't say like a normal human being, but
it reminds me of Hareitze Be'ilum Shlita. So getting checks from the Rebbe for Colel Chabad.
Cash.
Cash
was it? Yeah. We got a few checks from the Rebbe, but no, we didn't get. I didn't get no check. I mean, I got a few checks. First of all, I probably wouldn't even deposit the checks, but I got a few checks later.
Right. So what's the story with the pushkas? So the pushkas is an old thing, right?
It's very interesting that the Rebbe, the first time the Rebbe said, and one of the things that really, to a certain extent, that would hit me very, very strong is in my years, I always wanted to take it away to be a pushka organization. I wanted to make it this conglomerate, pushka organizations like a little, and now we're turning around. And on the contrary, I see that in terms of fundraising, it's much better to keep it as a pushka organization.
You're saying with the pushka app?
With the pushka app, yes.
Yes, I was going to say.
With the pushka app and with everything that goes along with it and the connection.
The last few years, I've been slacking off in Pashat. The Rebbe says hundreds of times in all the letters to give Prutis, to stock for davening, and I've been slacking off because I don't have cash. And Baruch Hashem, I have the Colel Chabad app. I have a 104 weekday streak.
So I said to somebody, there was a very interesting guy. So a guy punked this morning in shul. So a guy says to me that I have the push cap, and I remember even his name. And he says to me, so I say, you have a streak? So he says, yeah, of course I have a streak. So he said, because sometimes I don't give only through the app. I give through the plain push too. So I give outside the app. So therefore, I have the streak. You don't know about it, but I have the streak.
And what's it called? It's by the way, it's halach and kitzur shulchan aruch to get stuck before the happening. By the way, so but you're saying that the Rebbe said that in that first yeshivos about pushkas, and now you're seeing how this is a very fundamental part of Colel Chabad.
Now I'm seeing first of all, also because first of all it's a big source of income for us, and also through the years, also it was a thing that I took. I did pushkas. There was a time that we had thousands of pushkas. Mendy Broy came here. He really expanded it. We had there was a time that we had 25,000-30,000 pushkas, and we had 6-7 people that went around to collect the pushkas. It was a major work. And I wrote to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe wrote me. The answer from the Rebbe was that Rebbe nesius the hiskashrus from the Kegel yeshgam in pirsum da Kegel. Besides the hiskashrus, there's pirsum da Kegel. Branding.
You meant okay.
Right,
so you meant the pushkas.
Yeah, about the pushkas. I'm talking about the pushkas. I wrote to the Rebbe that we have 25,000 pushkas.
Yeah, the yellow pushkas. Those
the yellow pushkas and the white pushkas, whatever it was. Yeah.
And the Rebbe had it on his desk.
The Rebbe had it on his desk always a pushka Colel Chabad.
Always. And you're saying this is even before. This is.
Always.
I think you mentioned that when you were going on shluchim, that the Rebbe had it on the table also.
I didn't say. I said Ramat Chas. I think that by yeshivos.
Okay, that's when it started. Yeah.
I'm talking about Ramat Chas, not by yeshivos Chori.
Right. And the Rebbe also had pushka in the house.
The Rebbe also had a pushka in the house.
Was there a story with the Rebbetzin with that?
Yes, the Rebbetzin that I just saw it in one of the Yomani from Binyamin Coin, that the Rebbe brought out the money and gave it to Binyamin and told him to bring it to the office and to make sure that the receipt should be on the Rebbetz's name. There should be a separate receipt
on
the Rebbetz's name, not on his name, not on the regular basis.
Yeah, the Rebbe
spoke. The Rebbe told him to make sure to make a receipt on the Rebbetz's name.
And when the Rebbe spoke about having a pushka in the kitchen, so the Colel Chabad pushka, I believe it's Colel Chabad pushka, is hanging in the Rebbe's kitchen. I think it's there now.
Could be.
Oh. Okay, so I don't know if this is Verbe nicht zu sagen, mir Yamani, or whatever, who are we, but that first yeshivos that the Rebbe was disappointed. I mean, today Colel Chabad is a shame klali in the ganze Yiddish Welt and beyond. So we're definitely closer to Bimal the Rebbe's ratzon. Do you agree with that?
Very hard to say because again, the Rebbe looks at you not the way you are. The Rebbe looks at you the way by the Rebbe your potential is his reality. So that's if very, 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 very few people reach their potential. So it's not if the game is to impress you, so then it's incredible. But if the game is about your connection to the Rebbe, so I'm not sure I would be able to make that statement.
So there's still work.
But your potential is the reality. It's a different perspective. Never wasn't in the fantasy land, but that's what Rebbe was, The Rebbe looks at you the way you could be.
Okay.
There's no question.
So we should all
do a lot more.
We should all work toward the gala potential.
Amen.
Yeah. Rabbi Duchman.